The other night we had asparagus, and I don't usually have asparagus because I have fear of my pee smelling. So I think that I've been fucked by big asparagus.
That'd be a radio drop. That would be a radio drop. I've been fucked by big asparagus.
Foreplay presented by Barstool Sports. Today's show is, I believe, September 1st, 2022. We're now into September. Kind of a weird time for golf. PGA Tour done for like 2.5 weeks. We got Labor Day weekend coming up, so I imagine this show will be consumed by many who are on their way to holiday. Anybody got big holiday plans? I know Rap's going to Vegas for his bachelor party. I'm going to Colorado. My family lives in Colorado. My brother's driving out with his family. So we're going to have, nephew, niece, family, grandparents, brother, sister, all kinds of people hanging out. I think Frankie's going out that way as well. Is that right?
I'll be in Colorado as well. Yep. We've got Devon Toews' cup celebration. I'm going to attend and watch from a distance. I will not be participating in any celebratory events. I actually was going out to Colorado regardless. We've got some family out there in Colorado, so we're going for Labor Day. I love going out there. I like to go out there 2 or 3 times a year. I think it's Trent's favorite state in the entire world.
My mom is from Colorado.
There you go.
It's a beautiful
I've been going to
state.
Colorado my whole life. Yeah, I love Colorado.
I think it's a consensus that Foreplay loves Colorado, so we're going out there. Happens to be the couple be there. Toews, I went to his wedding, wore a turtleneck. He says that because of that, I owe it to him to go to his celebration. So I'll be there. And you know what? I'm not going to take it as like a hoorah, you guys won the cup. I'm taking it as like a how can we be better and how do I get here one day?
A scouting trip. A scouting mission out to Colorado?
It is. And if he thinks he's taking a picture with me with it, that thing's going to see the concrete.
So I don't have any plans as of right now, but the more I think about it, I might also go to Colorado. Maybe not tell Frankie, although it sounds like I'm telling him right now, and try to get him in a picture with the cup that I can put out on Twitter, because it does bring to mind, is there even a point to go? I know you want to support your guy Devon Toews, but the reason that you're going or the reason that he's having something is something that you are not willing to be in a picture with. So are you going to be in the background with binoculars like, congratulations, Devon Toews, but you're going to be in like Nevada or whatever states are next to Colorado.
It looks like the Stanley Cup up there.
I told him very straight. I told him very simply, I will not be participating in pictures.
That's kind of, but there's going to be so many pictures.
What if he's in front of like a lot of people and he calls you up there and it's like a big moment? You're just going to be like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Thanks. No thanks. It's just different because like we traded him, like he's an Islander. It's just there's a lot that's going on in the whole story. He happens to be a really good friend. I'm really happy for him and his family, his new son, the whole thing. He gets to be in the cup. It's like going to be an amazing day. I am a personal good friend of Devon, so like I do want to see all that stuff. I want to see his like son sitting in the cup and like his wife and everyone celebrating. Like that's fun. I don't want to be a part of the celebration of them winning a Stanley Cup. It does make it a little easier that it is a Western Conference team, but that's not how I was built. That's not what this is. I don't watch hockey for fun and for enjoyment. I watch it for life. And that's
would you take a picture with him during his cup celebration but without the cup? Or just no pictures with him at all? And
it's just I just won't. I'll barely see him. I
don't know Devon Toews nearly as well as you do, but we've gone back and forth in the DMs and we follow each other on Twitter. I would love to show up and just dunk my head in the Stanley Cup. That'd be great.
That'd be great. That would be great. I think a neutral fan that's like the greatest thing. And don't get me wrong, I feel honored to be invited to this thing. It's like the greatest honor of all time to be able to, they only get 25 guys. Maybe they add more people who ever played on the team, but like only a select amount of guys get a day with the Stanley Cup and you have to earn it, and he's inviting us to one of these things. That's pretty cool. So I'm not taking that lightly. I'm not celebrating with him. I'm just there. I don't want it to be known that I'm celebrating.
You're there as a friend. You're there as a friend.
Yeah. It's like going to like, maybe you don't like your buddy's like wife and you still go to their wedding. It's like, you're not celebrating that, but you're like there for your friend.
Do you refuse to take pictures with the wife?
It's just like you're just like not really happy about it. You're not happy about it.
I'll come to the wedding, but I will not be seen in the frame with the bride under no circumstances.
I'm going to go ahead and say that getting a picture without Devon Toews in the cup is impossible for you this weekend coming up. It's impossible. I know that that's true. That's why you're going.
No,
It's also, you're making it very clear now, like everyone that's there that's familiar with what we do to any degree, which I imagine will be a substantial number of people, know that the target goal for the weekend is to get Frankie Borelli in a photograph with the Stanley Cup and perhaps Devon Toews. And there's just going to be people with cameras and phones and pictures going out all the time. It's the Stanley fucking Cup's going to be there. It's the Stanley Cup.
I'll get very aggressive and angry and cause a scene. It's going to be bad. No, I know it's going to be bad. I'm like angry.
A couple cocktails, you might lose full control of the situation.
Well, I wanted to come out in front of it because if that does happen, if like a picture's taken, a stray angle, like I want everyone to know my intentions are to be aggressively away from the cup and not be near it. I'm a New York Islanders fan. This is my team. I will not celebrate the Stanley Cup until my team has won it. That is the way that I exist.
Dude, you know what you should do? Wear a disguise.
Yeah, just grow out my mustache again and like wear.
No, you maybe put a mask on. Just make sure that you don't look like you, and then you can do whatever you want.
I had like Islanders tell me if they see me in a picture with the cup, it's like don't even show up to UBS. It's like they don't even want. You know what I mean? They don't want me there. So we'll see.
You're gonna. It is the
cup though. It's an all-time day that.
It's the guy's day with the Stanley Cup.
That's what dreams are made of.
Oh, how cool is that? It's Justin Thomas like inviting you to hang out with a Wanamaker, and it's that cool. It's different because you have team allegiance. Get it? Your team's never won the cup during your lifetime. We get that, so it's dramatically different. But it's just like, why go? Why show up at all?
I just know that I'm not letting it happen.
Why don't you send a card? Why don't you send like a congratulations?
Because I said we're already going out there.
Send a carbon cutout of yourself.
We're already going out there. Maybe this podcast will stop me from getting invited. Maybe he's gonna disinvite me. I'm already going out there. I got golf planned in Colorado. I'm going out to Colorado one way or another. If the cup happens to be there, maybe I see it. But I'm going to Colorado. I gotta change this light situation. I don't know what the fuck's happening.
Let's talk about game time. Obviously, Colorado Avalanche, Islanders, Blues, sports, teams, games, all kinds of fun stuff going on in the world. Game time. They are the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. You want to go to events, you want to get out and about. You didn't get to do that for like 2 years, maybe longer if you're Canadian. Created by fans for fans. Game time is a new ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score. We have NBA. These guys went to NBA game when they were down at the Zurich Classic. I've still never been to an NBA game, but I will be going to NBA game this year. I'm also going to be going to some Arizona Cardinals games. Our friend JJ Watt now, who's just like our buddy, will be going to plenty of games. If I do not get connected through him, which sometimes maybe they lose a couple games, I don't want to text him. I don't want to feel like an asshole. I'll jump on the Gametime app and get myself some tickets. You download the Gametime app, go to the account tab to create a login and redeem code FORE, F-O-R-E, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Gametime. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Frankie, what is the Islanders' record all time in their new rink?
It's bad. I mean, I don't know. They lost the first fucking 11 games there, or whatever it was. It was a horrific. I was at the first win.
Yeah, I was at the UBS. I was there for their first win, and I think it was their 12th game there.
Let them get out of that seat, dude. Don't let them out of the seat.
They went out of 11. They went 11 games. I'm pretty sure it was without a win. We went on Game Time. We got tickets right on the glass. Trent Daddy was in the building. Brock Nelson was laughing at him. Brock Nelson at one point was like looking across the ice, and then after the game I got text like, was that Trent Daddy in section 107? Like, just so funny. He's like, the boys were buzzing on the bench that Trent Daddy was in attendance, like gave us our first win, like, and then for the rest of the season was like, when is Trent in town? We have a game. They're looking at Trent's schedule being like, is Trent able to make it? Because they knew like, all right, we had a bad like start, but if Trent's in the building, we can win.
Would it be weird if I wore a Brock Nelson jersey?
No.
Remember last podcast when you guys said that you guys weren't going to talk about hockey until the playoffs?
Yeah, that's
dude,
over.
Danny, this is what I'm telling you.
I would argue
these guys love hockey.
Trent's
and they
fault
love
for bringing it up early on.
It's like we're still talking
Trent
about
has
hockey.
no idea he's going to like 13 games with me this year because he lives right next to me. So obviously we're going to be carpooling to the game.
I'm in.
Yeah. Every game I go to, you're
fan.
going to. Every game I go to, you're going to.
And he's going to be at the Cup party on Friday. So it's just, he's got all kinds of hockey.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go to that. The more I keep thinking, it makes me sick in my stomach.
Trent, you doing a staycation Long Island this weekend?
Yeah, I think so. I had no plans. I didn't even know it was Labor Day weekend coming up. That flew right under my radar. So I'm just gonna kick it here, maybe play some golf, and that's it.
Question: do we have Thrones on Sunday night still?
You gotta
believe
think
so.
so. They can't be going break third week.
They don't care about labor.
No, they've got to be. They've got to be running an episode. They've got too much momentum.
I watched it, by the way, you guys. I watched it on the plane over here. I told you guys that I would, and I watched it. It was good. It was restrained. It was a lot what you talked about before. I like when the two dragons were there. I was like, are they really gonna just start breathing fire? But no, it was just a show of force. I liked that.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot of politicking. It was a lot of posturing, I felt like, which is old school Thrones. It was like, I thought Frankie made an amazing point about how, like, they didn't need to jump all over and wow you. It really kept you glued in the whole time by basically one decision, sort of like the whole show. And you moved a little bit to different areas, but even then it was the same characters, same decision, same talking points, same kind of rustling. It was super uncomfortable. Character after character being put into two decisions where neither one is in any way a good decision. It makes you, the listener or the viewer, extremely uncomfortable. So Thrones is, as good as it gets from just like an episode that not a ton actually happened. So I'm glad you caught up. It's gotta be Sunday night. I don't think that there's any other.
For sure.
Any other answer? Okay, we're gonna have, and we don't usually like to announce until we actually interview people. So if he doesn't come on, then we'll just delete this part. But Callum Tarren, who we met for the first time at the 3M Open in the second half of our Pro-Am, who's a total legend, English guy, jumped on the show after and was hilarious for like 15 or 20 minutes and had a great story about playing on like the Asian tour. What was it like when they brought the alligator in on a leash to like the restaurant he was at? I mean, he told phenomenal stories. The story about leading the U.S. Open and then his buddies being like, they're so biased, they won't even show you. And then him telling us like, no, or him telling his buddies like, no, it's not that they're biased, that they legitimately wanted me to play slower so that they could actually get the camera set up. And I play so fast that I just hit shots that they just couldn't get my shots on television. So he's great. And he and I have been going back and forth a lot on DMs. He's over in the UK, so he's like a million hours ahead, especially me in Arizona. But I believe we're going to record that, so he'll be on the show. And then other than that, we're doing a weird Tuesday night recording. We got people traveling all over the place per usual, so we're doing a Tuesday night recording. It's probably going to be a little bit wacky. It's probably going to be a little bit weird. We might request call-ins. We're going to go through a bunch of From the Galleries. First, we got to do some logistical stuff. So Kansas, if you're in fucking Kansas and you're listening to the show, I love Kansas. My dad does a bunch of bird hunting in Kansas when he drives through there. We are live in Kansas, Barstool Sportsbook. Wow. You can, starting now, when the show has gone live in Kansas, I don't know what time. I don't know if it's at like noon. I don't know if it's at midnight, Wednesday to Thursday. I don't really know. But Thursday, Kansas, Barstool Sportsbook live. So fire that puppy up on the app. Get involved. All kinds of fun. You can bet with Barstool. You can bet with Pardon My Take, Foreplay, whoever. So get involved in the Barstool Sportsbook. We love that puppy.
Here's a fun fact about Kansas. In 1905, helium was discovered in Kansas.
Is that right?
Yeah.
How do you discover heat?
So no balloons before 1905 then?
Exactly.
They just had really lame ones.
That element wasn't known.
Right, because that element always existed, but someone has to discover it, but I don't know how.
Did you know that helium is the only thing on Earth that's not a renewable natural resource? So once we are done with it, it's over.
Oh, it's finite. That's all we got?
Yeah, and helium shortages are a real thing.
How is that the only one?
Yeah.
It's the only thing on Earth.
What is it? So it just disappears.
So we do Frankie facts, but it's basically facts before fiction. Facts before fiction. So like it's a fact until we find out it's just been false. But I'm reading right off Google here that he goes in 1905 helium was discovered at the University of Kansas. However, humanity has used up most of it, and it's the only thing on Earth that's not a renewable natural resource.
Never heard that. I feel like helium was around quite a bit in my
dad,
childhood, and I never knew that it was such a precious resource.
Dude, it is, and it gets expensive when there's a shortage of it. Like if they have to if it's scarce in a certain area or whatever, because my dad can't get fucking helium at the restaurant when he's got to blow up all the balloons for all these parties. He has like engagement parties and birthday parties, and there's like these ridiculous helium shortages where they go I feel like a year without being able to get like those helium tanks back in the restaurant. It's crazy, dude.
Are there any practical uses for helium outside of blowing up balloons?
Making children happy.
Making our voices high
Helium.
and squeaky?
Helium is used to detect leaks, such as in car air conditioning systems, and because it diffuses quickly, it is often used to inflate car airbags after impact.
Okay.
Well, so at a certain point, you guys start allocating the helium to the cars as opposed to the balloons, because balloons.
Borelli's fucking balloon parties.
I disagree. I think children's happiness is pretty important for society.
Not if the children are dead because they just got smoked by a fucking airbag that
But it's not like you can't.
diffuse.
It's not like you can't blow up balloons like without helium. You can use your mouth. You could use the lungs. I guess you could also use a pump to blow up a car tire. Is that what it was for? I don't know. I just don't know if. I can't believe that helium is a finite thing.
So where is it? Where is all the helium?
I don't know, but the other really interesting fact is that it is an extremely windy city. Kansas's Dodge City is like the most windy city. It's got an average of 14 miles an hour throughout the entire year of wind. So they're just constantly getting beat by wind the entire year.
That's a solid 2-club wind right there.
Plug into the sun. Isn't the sun just made of like helium and hydrogen, basically? That whole fucking giant ball of
Where
fire?
is all the helium? The world's supply of helium is still located in just a handful of countries: United States, Algeria, and Qatar.
Wow.
The world is
awesome birthdays in all those places.
Do you guys say Qatar or Qatar?
What's
I think
the
I say Qatar, but I think it is Qatar, right?
I don't know. Because we got the problematic Olympics coming up there, right? And everybody.
No, World Cup. World Cup.
World Cup. That's this one coming up.
That's this one.
Dude, I didn't even realize we have we have USA England on the Friday, Black Friday, right?
Yeah. Having the World Cup be when there's not like serious golf going on is really, really awesome.
Oh, dude, it's going to be great. The fact that it's in like the early winter, late fall, that's insanity. Yeah, so we
Finals
have
on my
England.
28th birthday
Danny, would you go?
to the World Cup.
Yeah.
Hey,
Is this
you're
like a- is this
fucking
like
Big
a-
J, dude?
Is this like a trick question about like would you go like because of like the problematic stuff, or are you just genuinely curious?
You think we're that complex here, buddy? We're just
Yeah,
I
no,
don't.
I don't
No.
know. It's a loaded question. It's a bit of a minefield. Yeah, I would go. I would definitely go.
That would be awesome.
Dude, this
Never been to
game's
World
at
Cup.
like this game's at noon. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
it's-
This is gonna be
yeah, it's-
incredible.
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be really,
So yeah,
really great.
England, United States of America, noon. It looks like on fucking Black Friday. I don't know if that's local time. Unbelievable.
I think it is noon Eastern. I think they probably scheduled that game knowing that it was going to do One Direction numbers in the United States.
Okay, so it looks like USA Group. Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's my time, noon. So it might be 2 or 3 p.m.
Even better.
Eastern Standard Time. Holy moly, that's going to be fun. That's going to be really fun. All right. A couple programming notes. We have the beginning of the travel series. I think if the voice from the gods, it might be Jake Bass right now, can confirm that. But I believe the travel series Presswick.
Yes, sir.
First one will come out Thursday night. We're probably targeting 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Is that correct, Jake Bass?
Yes, sir. Right after Barstool versus America. So Barstool versus America at 7. Go right into Prestwick.
Surviving
Amazing.
Barstool.
There you go.
I do also want to follow up. I saw a couple people were wondering about the Kisner Barstool Classic situation. What happened was that we had to push it back one day. So we were like, oh, Wednesday to Thursday. Then we forgot that the PGA Tour does not like or really permit us, if you will, to post videos of us playing golf with PGA Tour professionals while their tournaments are airing. So we couldn't post it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We probably could have, but out of respect, we've had a good relationship with them over the last few years. We decided to wait and then post it on Monday. So the Kisner video, we thought it'd be a 1-day delay, ended up being a 5-day delay. That's the answer for that. People are still viewing it. It's doing well. Everybody loves Kiz. He drives the needle. Ain't no hobby gear, the whole fucking situation. So that's the programming note there. And then Scotland, watch Surviving Barstool
Yes.
at 7 p.m. And then watch Presswick, Scotland, the whole deal. We enter Scotland. We get there. We arrive. I don't have my bags. We're staying at Dundonald Links. We're playing Presswick, which is the first ever shot in major championship golf ever, fucking ever, was hit at Prestwick. And then we're just on the same tee hitting the shot. There's a whole train down the right side that's just OB. The wind's hard off the left. Little teaser, somebody hits it OB. So you're going to want to watch the entire thing.
I'm going to have to watch it. I think that's required watching for me. Just I think I need to, for like, market research.
Yes,
for sure.
I think you do.
And then I think Breaking 90 is going to be the following, like Monday or Tuesday. We're going to move that. I think we might have Breaking 90 on different days now, because for the next 2 or 3 months is just going to be like, or 2 months is going to be just a ton of Travel Series videos on Thursdays.
Yeah, I think we have 6 weeks worth of Scotland Travel Series, so we might have to shift. We might be doing Breaking 90s on Tuesdays and Scotland on Thursdays. That is my understanding.
And this Tuesday,
keep fucking coming. Let's get to a point where every day of the week we're just releasing videos on YouTube.
Right.
Okay.
And if it's this Tuesday, it's must watch. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is the one you hyped up that you guys filmed yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Don't spoil anything off camera, on camera. I don't want to know shit. I go in blind. I'm excited to watch. So we're gonna premiere. This is attempt like 8.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yep.
When you started it, what number did you think? Like, how many did you think tries did you think you're going to need?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if I ever had a number.
I feel like you probably
head.
didn't get to double digits. You probably thought like 5 or 6. I don't mean to be rude. I'm just asking.
I will say that after the first episode, which we did at Seawayn, and I shot a 98, I was like, oh, this is, I was thinking it would happen relatively quickly. Relatively quickly. So I don't know. I guess I didn't think about it, but I thought maybe double digits. So it didn't really cross my mind, I guess. I never gave it a ton of thought. I was hoping that it would happen
on the process. You're just, you're not concerned with results.
No, I can't look in the future. I just got to, work with what's in front of me.
Trying to see how good your guys' poker faces are. If there's anything that we could learn from this.
I gotta watch.
Frankie's skin tone usually looks just dead, and then Trent's not really.
I don't know what's going on my face today. I have a shiny cheek like I'm in Toy Story. You see this thing?
You look like Woody.
Look at this. Look at that shiny ass cheek. Look at that. Look at that right there. You know what? When Woody, when they like burn him, when Sid burns Woody on his
with
forehead,
the magnifying glass. Yeah.
That's what I have right now.
You look like a toy.
You guys talk. I'm gonna fix my lighting.
You look like a toy who's being burned with a magnifying glass by a mean kid that lives next door. And then the other thing we've got, I think that's it. We have Kansas and we have the video coming out, and then we'll have Callum Tarren. So those are my big fucking, programming notes. All right. We got news to get into. So LIV Golf, 54 Golf, which is a very... I do like that there's different names you can call it now depending on how much respect you have for the league. Like Jay Monahan just calls it the Saudi League whenever he releases a statement. And then you call it LIV if you're pretty like just normal or whatever. And then some people call it 54 Golf because it is just preposterous that the name of it is the Roman numeral for the number of holes that they play, but nobody calls it the Roman numeral. It'd be like if you just called it like Super Bowl XI or something. It's like that's not what you say. You call it the number. So it's very interesting. But LIV Golf defectors, the latest we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys. I think that kind of what we were speaking about. Danny did a great job in his blog today going through kind of what this means and breaking it down. And I thought one of your comments really rang true to me, which was that like Cam Smith and a few of the others, this would be incredibly big news if it weren't for the fact that this was something that we all kind of knew already.
Yeah, Cam Smith is arguably the most important player they've signed, like narrative-wise, because, Phil was obviously a huge splash, but for the last year, he hadn't been playing very good golf. DJ, despite the fact that he could flip a switch and win 2 majors next year, wasn't playing great. Brooks kind of the same way. Cam Smith is at the top of the sport. I mean, he's won 2 of the 5 hardest tournaments to win this year. He's 28 years old. I mean, there's no argument to be made that this guy's past his prime or doesn't care about winning. Like, he's just a guy at the top of the sport who they were able to bring over. So yeah, if that news dropped today instead of a couple of weeks ago that he was going to go, the sort of tenor of this conversation, I think, would be very different.
Has there ever been any clarity on how long these deals are? That's the one thing I have no idea about. It's
like in the 3 to 4 year range is sort of the standard
Yeah, because if you're Cam Smith, you sign a 3-year deal, you're going to be 31 by the time this thing is over. I don't know how much they gave him, but I'm sure it was an insane amount of money. I would be curious to know, once the 3-year deal is up, would a guy like that be allowed back on the PGA Tour?
I think if you are the PGA Tour and it gets to a point where it's been 3 years, the contracts have played out, either the guy doesn't want to renew or whatever, there's got to be some sort of path back, right? Like, you're really just going to hold a grudge against the best players in the world for 10 years. Like, I just can't see a scenario in which that happens. While they're currently competing, it's different. But if it's a scenario where a guy's done it and he said, listen, I tried this, I didn't love it, I want to come back, I don't think it's I don't know. But maybe it's a deterrent to keep them from going in the first place. I don't know, but I can't see it being like a lifelong ban.
Fun fact, helium makes up about 24% of the mass of the entire universe. Think about that. Of the entire universe.
24%?
24% of the mass of the entire universe is made up by helium.
If we keep using it, does the mass decline?
It must.
Or does it transform into some other mass, right? Because isn't mass like...
It's done.
Mass
there's a number of mass.
Correct. So it's not like you're deleting mass. Like we talked about this, like if Trent eats an enormous dinner, let's say we go to Indian food with Trotty, and and you eat all
huge
that
mass.
Food, the mass of that
much mass.
The total mass in that room hasn't changed. It's just transformed from
it's changed.
Delicious
so
food presented on the table to like just shit in Trent's like loins.
So if there's 2 pounds of food in front of Trent or anyone else, but in this hypothetical,
Thank you,
Trent, you're
Thank
welcome.
You,
if there's 2 pounds of food in front of him, and then he eats those 2 pounds of food, and then you put him on a scale, would he be exactly 2 pounds heavier? Or is there some sort of is something lost in like the chewing? And
I think they're saying like the amount of mass on the Earth doesn't change because even no matter how you concoct it, like it's going into Trent, it's going out of Trent. It was already there. It's all the same amount of mass. But my question is, what about when you like reproduce humans? Like if we just keep making humans, that's mass that wasn't accounted for, right?
No,
started
because
as a
that
little
mass
sperm.
is going. That's why we're all like stardust, right? Like it's just going from. There's like random helium and stardust and stuff that somehow like
create, like,
was materialized into like sperm and then an egg and then turned into a person and now you've got fucking Trent walking around eating Sour Patch Kid.
If you create Trent out of sperm, the Earth has gained a significant amount of mass. No.
Well, no, because Trent he's devouring things in his path that are turning him into a larger mass. You know what I'm saying? He's not. It's not like you put Trent in a vacuum. He just turns it into Trent.
I don't understand how creating a human being isn't more mass. That doesn't compute with my brain. I'll tell you that.
Because I think
you're telling me that
it takes to keep that person like growing inside of the mother and all that, like she needs to like eat more and consume more, and that's like being transformed into Trent Ryan.
So you're telling me that the mass of Earth has not changed. You're telling me that the mass from Earth has not changed from now, where everything's ridiculously populated, even though Elon Musk says that we're failing at population, repopulating, is not any different from when there was just one caveman walking around?
Yeah, there were a lot more trees. Think about it that way.
What about the dinosaurs?
What about the dinosaurs?
How fucking heavy they were?
But we're putting them into our cars now.
No, they never left. They never left.
Oh, I was about to say something real stupid. What are we talking about?
Fossil fuels.
That's actually coming from dinosaurs? Is that what you were about to say? Or is that a joke?
That's legit.
Did you guys see those dinosaur footprints that they found the other day?
So gas and oil is just decomposed fossils?
Yeah. That's what oil is.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with like it was already there inside the layers of the Earth. It's all just decomposition.
I mean, there might be some. I don't know. I really don't know. But I know that a lot.
Holy fuck, boys!
What we were told is that it's like when creatures die, that's how their energy is transferred.
Right.
Well, okay. So here's this. This is a big moment. Scientists estimate the Earth gains about 40,000 tons of material each year from the accretion of meteoric dust and debris from space.
Wow. Oh, they just tap in more?
They also estimate that about 95,000 tons of hydrogen gas are lost from the Earth's atmosphere to outer space each year. So it doesn't appear that it's like human to like Indian food related and Trent growing bigger. It's attributed to like apparently meteoric stuff runs into us, and then we also lose stuff through the atmosphere.
All right. I see. What about that Cameron Smith, though?
He's gone, man.
Roman, and then we're going to delve into Cameron Smith and to Rap's blog here. Roman, we're talking about, mass, creating humans. In order to do that, you got to have sex.
Got to fuck.
Apparently. And depending on your religious beliefs, you got to have sex to do that. What would you want to last longer? An awesome football game, a good TV show, a legendary concert, or maybe sex with a lovely, attractive partner of your choice that's hopefully consensual. Well, Roman wants you to last longer in bed. 340% better in bed is what these studies show. 340%. 340%.
I wonder what the average is that's based on. What do we, 340% of what?
Well, it's got to be like negative 320. You know what I mean? Like, they're getting us into the positives, I think.
No, but I mean, is it 340% of 2 minutes?
Right.
I wonder what the basis is.
I remember they gave us a number in one of these ad reads, and it was really low. Like, really
I remember
low.
getting an email. I know we're probably not talking about this now. It might be a new product that they're going to be pushing soon. Although I did see it on their website when someone asked me. I think Jake asked me. But I think that they asked us to participate in something, and I said yes to it. And I'm still waiting for that to start.
Are you doing a T test?
I think I'm doing like a testosterone test to see like where my levels are at. Because I've always had questions. So questions about like why am I like softer?
You just might have low
tired.
T. You look like a toy.
But see, but part of their thing is like it's not about having low T. Like go see a doctor about that. This is like, why are you tired? Why are you not like? Why are you sucking in bed? Like little things like that. You don't have like a legit testosterone deficiency. It's just like, can we figure out like to maximize your testosterone? I don't know that I have a testosterone deficiency. I think I would have known that by now, right? I think I might have like, I'm on the lower side of a healthy testosterone amount that this product would help me. But I would love to know that. Imagine I start
within the
like,
window. You just want to get higher in the window,
right? I think I could gain muscle mass, and I would get rid of my tits and all that stuff. But
exercise could help with that too. Maybe better diet.
Right, I've been thinking.
Roman swipes. They're the secret to longer lasting sex. Roman swipes are uniquely formulated to reduce overstimulation without eliminating sensation altogether. The more consistent you are with the swipes, the longer and better your sex will be. Swipes are super easy to use. Take them out of the swipe, apply, let it dry for 5 minutes. Enjoy longer lasting sex, 340% better in bed. Go to GetRoman.com/4 to get 20% off your first order of swipes. That's GetRoman.com/4, 20% off your first order of swipes. Back to Cam Smith. Interesting case. I saw a few folks on Twitter. I don't know if you were dabbling in this or not today, Dan, but few folks were kind of getting into like how important it seems to be to essentially win a major and then go. And I think that makes a ton of sense. Where Cam Smith, before he won the Open Championship, the 150th, if they gave him 100, do we know? Was there a number reported?
I think 100 is sort of the region.
General. If they gave him 100, what would they have given him without winning the Open at this exact same moment with all other performances being equal? Would it be 50, 25, right? Like, did he literally double his value to LIV by winning the 150th Open at St. Andrews? I think he at least probably did, right?
100% he did. It's kind of similar to, this is why there was some chatter around all the Henrik Stenson stuff was, would he have gotten the same offer if he wasn't the Ryder Cup captain? Probably not. There's part of this is not just getting the best players, but it's winning kind of the narrative game. And so, yes, he was a great player before this. He was a top 10 player, but he won the 150th Open at St. Andrews where everyone was watching, and he's top of the mind in golf right now. He's done it really recently. Quite literally, the most recent major championship was won by a 28-year-old Australian guy who's just gone to LIV Golf. Like, it's you know, I go back to when it leaked, it took a lot of the sting out of it, but it is a really big get for them. It's a significant coup.
Is this like a new playbook or the go-to playbook for if you're a big name, how to roll out that you're going to LIV? Like leak it a month early so that you take the sting out of it, and then you kind of like wishy-washy, you stay on tour, people forget, and then now that he went, like nobody cared today, right?
I think it's going to be really different in how guys go like moving forward because of the way the league is changing, right? Like right now they have to fill these 48 spots. So they're still filling those spots. I mean, I think they're all done now, but moving forward, it's going to be more like a American sports league where there's a season and then there's an off season. And so it's like all the contract negotiations and stuff would be at the end of the season. So I think there's going to be no guys joining for like another year, maybe 1 or 2 to fill out the 48. But once they're doing their league next year, it's not going to be the same where it's like a wave and a wave and a wave. It's going to be more like this guy's contract's up and, you know, someone else signs in the off season.
I will say, I know like Frankie's usually our pro live guy, so I don't want to steal his thunder, but I was looking at reading the blog and the whole stuff about the Australian team. And when we were talking on the last show about the recruiting, that stuff, I mean, I feel like a lot of that element of American sports is what people get so into is off-season and acquisitions and contracts and why guys decide to go to certain teams. That got me excited. Like that part actually got me intrigued into the decision-making process and the fact that there's an Australian team and the fact that, which you again brought up, that like the PGA Tour has essentially abandoned Australia as a venue to go play events outside of the occasional President's Cup where they plant fans. But they basically don't go to Australia. Australia is one of the biggest hotbeds for golf, you know.
And has the most incredible golf courses.
Phenomenal. And they don't go there. And now you've got, you know, Greg Norman's obviously the head of the whole thing, the CEO. He's an Australian guy. You got Cam Smith as their best ranked player, their biggest name that's relevant and up and coming still at the peak, whatever. He's Australian. They got the Australian team with Leishman. Like, that's a big draw for them. They're going to play, 3, I think, announced for next year, at least, like Australian events. So that's a big part of it. And I do find that element of it, it's starting to sort of crystallize a little bit into where this like team thing and that they have equity, the captains have equity. And, you know, you told the whole little tale about like Brooks Koepka having equity. So he's trying to recruit guys so that his team's the best team so that they can sell it. Like that's blending Formula One with our normal sports. That is kind of fucking intriguing. I have to admit it. It's kind of intriguing.
Formula One, when I went to the 2 live events that I went to, and you're talking to executives about the vision, right, and what they want this thing to look like in 5 years, Formula One comes up all the time. I mean, that's really kind of what their goal is, right? There's 10 teams in Formula One. They're all owned by corporations, but some of them are just, a billionaire who wants a toy, basically a shiny toy. And there's only so many shiny toys that are that shiny, and getting an NFL team is ridiculously hard. They're never up for sale. Like, there will be people who this is really appealing to. Like, there's just not that many of them. So yeah, the team stuff is super, super, super important for them. Like, it's actually vital to their model, and nationalism is sort of an easy way for a team to create an identity. And then the team all of a sudden becomes valuable in Australia. That's why Hideki would have been so incredibly massive. I wrote about this too. I mean, Hideki would have been just huge because he's another guy who's not old. He's right at the peak. Just won the Masters. First Japanese guy to win a major. Just a huge megastar. And if you get him, you get a TV deal in Japan right away, a big one. You know, some Japanese billionaire would buy that team in a heartbeat. Like, Hideki was a huge domino that at least now hasn't yet fallen LIV's way.
It is super interesting how strategic now, you know, they are being. LIV is being. And at the beginning, it was sort of like they'll just take really anybody they can get for the most part. Obviously, some big names, DJ and Phil and the whole deal. But, you know, now Cam Smith and the Australian angle, which we've already talked about. But, you know, Joaquin Niemann, Chilean, huge in South America. And South America is, you know, one of the completely untapped golf markets in the world. Anirban Lahiri, who was huge in India, that's a market. Clearly, like, they're going for more of the international market and not just going purely for America. And then the strategy that they had around Henrik Stenson, like going in and getting the current Ryder Cup captain for Europe. Like they paid a premium knowing like this is going to send a message that we stole your fucking captain. And like, we're going to take your 150th winner at St. Andrews so that, you know, you're not going to want them all over the graphics next year when you're building out your tournament. You know, it's like that shit is super strategic by them. And that too is very interesting. It reminds me a lot of why I've always been way more when it comes to politics into elections than I have been actually governing. Like I think elections are incredible. Like when grown adults are going out trying to ruin the lives of other grown adults because they're competing for this fucking office, it's amazing what goes down and the drama and everything else. This type of drama around kind of their strategy and their recruiting and the fact that it's again like crystallizing into kind of a real thing that appears to be kind of thought out, and they're able to get, you know, the right pieces in certain spots, even though they're not, I don't think, there hasn't been as big of an exodus as they were probably hoping. It's interesting. It's interesting to look at.
It is. Does any of this matter if they don't have a TV deal? Like if these events are going to be happening that no one is watching, I know they air them on YouTube, and I think a bunch of people watch those, and they're collecting all this talent, like you're saying, Australia, India, all these different places. But once the events actually start to happen and no one's watching them, if you want to continue to claim to be a legitimate business and to have a legitimate business plan, not having a TV deal is going to hurt. And it's going to hurt a lot.
Big time. I don't think they're going to be just free on YouTube next year. They're not going to sign a deal, I don't think, with one of the big networks, but like it's going to have to be on linear television next year. And that's what they're planning on negotiating in the offseason once they're done, is they have that 3-month period. But yeah, they might have to buy a channel. Like they have to get it on TV. You're right. Because if it's, no matter how good the people are that you're signing and how many major champions you have, if the people don't care, it just will lose steam.
Yeah, I thought like that might be the move, is even just buy television if you need to, like buy television spots or whatever you need to do, because it's right. Like if you can legitimize yourself that way and get yourself in front of eyeballs, then like maybe you can gain some traction. But because I don't know that they're gonna have it right now. Like a linear typical TV channel isn't gonna pay for the rights to put this on in America right now, right?
They're going to buy every commercial during the Super Bowl. Like, so you're going to see 1.5-minute clips of LIV Golf in between each stoppage of the Super Bowl. And you're just going to be like, that's where we're going to see it each year.
Some parts of the LIV business plan does feel like Prestige Worldwide from Step Brothers, where they're like, what are we going to do? We're going to buy TV. That's how we're going to get on TV. We're just going to buy TV. But it's legitimate. They could legitimately do that and just buy TV and put themselves on TV. That's how much money they have.
Yeah, it's that. And then right now, what they need to do is disrupt. They just need to disrupt. Like that's their game plan.
Well, I think that's always been their model. And I mean, think back to when we were first starting about LIV, when it was just an idea and you're like, this is fucking crazy. How is it even going to work? And now flash forward a couple months, how much they actually have accomplished. It's pretty stunning and startling and like pretty insane of where we're at now. I think that it's crazy to think that they would have everything in place at this point. I think if you ask Greg Norman like 5 months ago, like if he'd be happy where he's at right now with LIV, I think he'd be pretty happy. What would you guys say?
I was just thinking, like, if I showed you that list last year of the guys who have been playing in Boston, I think you'd be pretty impressed.
You'd be stunned.
Blown away.
Like, holy shit. You wouldn't be like, where's their TV deal? You'd be like, holy shit.
Well, that's just the next step.
No, I know you, but you'd be like, holy shit, like something big happened.
For sure. No, I don't.
Last year where you're like, they're on
$2
their
billion
way to,
in guaranteed money or whatever.
Right.
I definitely don't disagree that they have made an impact, and they've made an impact so much so that we have to talk about the next steps. And if they make them, you got to talk about the steps after that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like when it becomes legitimate is when they start getting sponsors and all those billionaires to make the teams like Formula One. I'm not watching a single event if it's the Cracking Aces versus the Golden Bananas. I'm just not going to do it. And like they know that too. I think they sit around and know no one's watching the Golden Bananas tee off against whatever. Like I don't even know a single name. It's just the idea of what it is so intriguing to me. That it's like, if it's fucking Coca-Cola versus like team whatever, Ferrari, just like how F1 does, we're going to be like, that is something at least my brain can understand. Who's in first place? It's a brand that I can associate it with. It's this billionaire tech guy that named his team something ridiculous that like we're always going to know for the future of the sport. Like that's where it becomes like now you've gotten like the idiots that just want to click on a TV and see who's in first. Right now they have not gotten there yet, but I like as someone that's just like watching it all unfold, it's fucking crazy at where they've gotten to.
It's just so hard though for them to do that, for them to drum up interest in the team stuff, because it's always been a part of Formula One. There's always been a team aspect. There's always been like, they're really trying to just turn, golf into it like a team sport. It's just in starting from scratch and doing it. So
yeah,
whatever like method they can use to get there, whether that's, countries or it's a monumental task.
The day they put an actual brand name on a team, I think they succeed in that task. For me at least, like where I'm able to like pay attention to it, like then it becomes a team sport. Until then, I think it's like backyard baseball. It's like it feels fake. It feels like
one company cuts a check and then all of a sudden it goes from backyard baseball to like I'm tuning in on Sunday.
I don't know what it is. There's something
tuning
about
into
it
what? Does it have to be? Are you going to watch if it's not on TV?
Well, no, I think if they got to that point, I think only sponsors would take it if they have a place to see their sponsors. You know what I mean? I think it'd have to be on some sort of streaming network or whatever. It's also funny that we're saying they have to be on TV when every professional sports league is like going away from traditional television. Like you can't see a Yankees game on Monday night unless you have Apple streaming TV. Like you can't.
Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, like there's certain games on the MLB where you just can't even watch them on TV. They're only on Apple.
Can't even watch a fucking PGA Tour sometimes now.
You can't watch PGA Tour. You can't watch NHL is only on Peacock on like Thursday nights, whatever it is. You can't watch it out. Like I can't watch the Islanders unless I have Peacock.
But those are still TV deals, right? Like I get it, but
they're getting paid so much money to do that.
Yeah.
But they're taking them away from current TV deals. That's why they're getting the money. Like I think if you're coming out of nothing, then it's not going to be like.
But is
like
Peacock NBC?
Yes.
Right, but they're paying, right? Aren't they paying to take them away from traditional media? A lot of these things, like an Apple TV is paying TNT to take that Yankees game off TNT baseball to put them on Apple's. But if they weren't, the point is they currently have that deal.
But if the league is if YouTube TV says like we're gonna pay, your Sling says we're gonna pay, LIV Golf whatever $1 billion over the next 3 years, like that would be identical to me of if they're on ESPN. It's like they got a deal. They got like a TV, they got a streaming or a broadcasting deal or whatever. And yeah, I agree with you. That would be the ultimate step in legitimization. I think at this point, it's pretty much inevitable eventually, don't you think? I mean, they've checked the boxes so far that we didn't think they could check. And yes, they've gotten to them via means that, we're all pretty skeptical of and think that it means that's, there's nefarious activity, there's bad people behind the money, but they've gotten to a point where if you and you just made the point, if you showed me this roster a year ago, I'd be like, holy fuck, that is a monumental crack in professional golf with these names on one side of it and these names on the other. I mean, we legitimately have like Rory McIlroy and JT and Tiger Woods and Morikawa are like publicly against Brooks Koepka and Phil Mickelson and Dustin Johnson and Cameron Smith. That's amazing. Like that. Did you see
the, I think it was the Telegraph, I'm not sure, Jamie Corrigan, who's been on top of a lot of the LIV stuff, but he reported today that, so there's 18 LIV guys who are playing in the DP World Tour event next week, the BMW PGA Championship. And apparently the tournament sent them all a message being like, you guys are not going to be in feature groups. There are no LIV things allowed. And like, you probably aren't going to be interviewed out of respect for the tournament. And so like that kind of stuff. And I wrote about this. I think it was at St. Andrews where some of the LIV guys like Phil Mickelson get kind of a pairing that made you raise your eyes. And there were some other guys who got these kind of pairings that like, and that stuff only brings them closer in a way. You know what I mean? Like if they feel like, oh, we're being ostracized and we're being pushed out, that only makes it more contentious than it already was to begin with. So it's very tense.
It also gives them a case that you guys are doing that to us. Like when they blatantly say, we're not going to put you in featured groups and we're not going to do this and that. It's like, first of all, you're creating more headlines. So that's
I'm going to make sure that's exactly continue. I'm going to make sure that's exactly what happened because I don't want to misrepresent, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Yeah, but even if so, I mean, that's very much that. Yeah, I agree. That is like you're giving them fuel. You're basically putting them in a corner where they're going to rally, right? Like with one another. They're going to bond over the fact that like they're going to talk shit, right? When they're together, they're going to be like, how about these fucking, they're just going to bond and they're going to be, we're the LIV guys. We're kind of the bad boys of golf.
They can't play in the Pro-Am either.
You also take people like viewers and fans who are kind of in the middle where they hear something like that and they're like, well, that's all right. Now, what do you do? Like, why are we doing that? That seems a little insane. You might get people to flip. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think they have. Yeah, Rory had a comment, didn't he, about like he doesn't even want to see the people next week or whatever. So
Is that what he said?
He's like, it doesn't sit well with me, I think is what he said. Well, it's like, if it's all anyone in your sphere has been talking about nonstop is you versus these guys and you guys versus these guys, it's only human nature to start to think about it that way.
Yeah.
I thought Harold Varner III had I thought he had an interesting statement. I thought he had about as good of a statement as you could have. He basically came out, one of the few, and we've asked for this for a while, and said, like, yeah, I'm doing it for the money. This is pretty much what he said. He had, obviously more to it. He spoke about his background. He said, the truth is my life is changing. The opportunity to join LIV Golf is simply too good of a financial breakthrough for me to pass by. I know what it means to grow up without much. This money is going to ensure that my kid and future Varners will have a solid base to start on in a life I could have only dreamt about growing up. It'll also help fund many of the programs I'm building with my foundation. It'll continue to forge pathways for kids interested in golf. This note is a receipt for that. Your opinion of me may have changed because of this announcement. No lie, that'll be a tough thing to deal with, but I haven't changed. I'm still me, I promise you that. So I think that in terms of statements, leading with like, yep, I did this for financial and for money, I think is probably going to sit way better with people than most of any other, angle that we've heard so far.
People are learning how to do this.
Yeah, they
Cameron Tringale was the same way. And you saw there were a couple guys who dropped out of the lawsuit this week. Jason Kokrak, I think Abe Answer. I think guys are starting to be like, maybe I'll just be nice. Maybe I'll just tell the truth and just sort of go and say thank you and be nice out the door, and they'll definitely deal with less blowback. Because now I think you're 100% right. Like now you ask people about Harold Varner, they're like, I get it.
Wasn't there this conception that they weren't allowed to say that?
Right. Do you think LIV has changed like their talking points that they give to the players of like, all right, nobody's buying the grow the game thing. Like we need to be a little bit more honest. Like, do we think there was anything from LIV? Because there was the original, there was the flyer or whatever that went out to the players of like, here's the things you're supposed to harp on when you're asked.
I don't know the answer. I don't know for sure. It's not impossible. Maybe they just like stopped talking about it as much, with the guys, and it has become more normalized, right? It's like, because now that these guys are like the 30th or 40, whatever it is, guys to make this decision. So it's not quite as testy.
My complete and unfounded guess would be that they probably changed something, because what happens when you just flat out lie, the headlines are, these guys are lying, and we don't like that. When they don't lie and they say, I went for the money, the headlines are, thank you very much for saying the truth. And that's like a more positive headline than the negative one about lying. And you can just over and over again, if you just say, I'm there for the money, people are like, all right, I respect it. And it's an easier pill to swallow. On
the flip side, it is kind of a tough pill for LIV to swallow, because when you say I went for the money, you're basically saying I wouldn't have done it for the same price. Like, I'm doing this because they're paying me a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an implicit admission that you wouldn't have, if it wasn't for the money, you wouldn't have gone.
Also, you need the guys to not say it was for the money, for the guys who said it was for the money to have a comparison, if that makes any sense. You needed the guys who refused. It didn't make any sense? I'm saying you needed the Phil Mickelsons of the world that refused to say that it was about money and clearing his debts, to have a Harold Varner to almost be a refreshing take, when if everyone was just saying it was for the money, they'd come off as pretentious douchebags, and that would be the negative headline, is my point. Even though it is
a good point,
it's Harold Varner still should be a negative headline. I'm going to LIV to take all the money, but it's so different and honest compared to all the guys prior to him that we're applauding him and being amazing. But had they all just taken his same stance, we'd be these guys are blood money lunatics.
And
that's true.
And the going in a pack thing is just better, right? You're just one of six guys that went. It's
dude, when Pat Perez wore the money shirt, we were everyone was going crazy, being he's an amazing guy. Look at that, dude. There was talk shows of everyone being can you believe this guy? He's a real dude. Everyone's no one's cares about his decision. No one cared about his decision.
Yeah, nobody cared about Perez. I agree, and it's funny now to look at how many shots Taylor Gooch took, right? And now there's just way bigger Taylor Gooches that have gone, and it's just not that big of a deal.
It was great for everybody that Taylor Gooch went first and just kept putting his foot in his mouth over and over and over again. And people like Harold Varner and all of them were like, we can do it better than that. That guy is saying some crazy shit. He was the perfect, lamb to slaughter in that regard, because he was just like, yeah, it's like the Ryder Cup out here. And there were two guys standing next to him. It's amazing.
All right, I want to talk about From the Gallery. Truly, we're going to do some From the Galleries. I get a couple I want to get to before we lose anyone. I know it's a Tuesday night. People got all kinds of shit going on. But From the Gallery is brought to you by our very good friends at Truly Hard Seltzer. They've been the title sponsor of the Barstool Classic all 4 years. They got a crisp, clean. I mixed crisp. Kind of a nice word. Clean, crisp, refreshing hard seltzer with a hint of fruit. There's over 30 flavors, so there's something for everyone. As you know, we now require, this is the Trotty rule, we now require people to submit their favorite Truly flavor whenever they ask a question from the gallery. So we got several to get to today. I'm going to start with Jason, and I think that D-Rap will probably have some good, interesting points on this question. Jason says, hello. My favorite Truly flavor is black cherry. Thank you. Do you think LIV has reached out to Anthony Kim? If so, do you think they could get him to come out of retirement? Do we know the Anthony Kim situation, and if it's even possible for someone to just offer him way, way more money than he had for his retirement or injury settlement?
I'm pretty sure the injury settlement is over. There's like a time period on those things.
Wow.
I think it's like a 10-year. It's either over or it's over soon, where you can't play for 10 years if you want to keep the money, but it's not like in perpetuity. So I think he's at a place where if he wanted to play again, he could. At this point, though, like, what kind of message would that send from LIV, right? They're trying to talk about this is like a competitive thing. We want this to be toe-to-toe with best players in the world. It's all about the competition. To just invite a guy who hasn't played golf in like 8 years to take one of these 48 spots.
But they are in the headline game.
It would be a great headline. I would be interested to see if people in like the general sports world would care, because we're so far in it that Anthony Kim has become this like Bigfoot figure.
Yeah.
But does the general public even remember who that is?
General public, belt buckles. They people remember belt buckles.
They got lasting power.
Yeah. What is you as a guy who just is an insider, and you've been at this for a long time and you're great at it. What is the latest on Anthony Kim? Do you have any sort of insight into that?
Not really. I mean, I think the general consensus is that I think it's like Texas maybe or something. I think he's been seen in Dallas.
Vegas.
I think it's been seen in somewhere desert. He's been seen a few times.
Bigfoot, dude.
Yeah,
I genuinely think.
I think the general, what I've heard, and you hear like mumblings, and you don't know it's true, but what I've heard is that he's like in a good place, which is nice to hear.
That's great.
Yeah,
I genuinely think an Anthony Kim interview on this show would be the biggest interview we've ever done.
See, I do too, but that was an interesting
I'll do my
point
best
from Danny of like that. I don't know if it transcends the golf world. I am curious, like, as someone who was in the cover story game and feature story game, like, did it come across your desk occasionally of like, go track down Anthony Kim?
Well, you can track him down. You could but if he doesn't want to participate, I don't think people would be quite as interested in a story that's like, okay, he has this like restaurant now, or he's like invested in these 4 things. Like, you kind of need him in order for that story to really pop.
Okay.
It'll
be
happen.
super interested.
It'll
in
happen
an Anthony Kim
eventually.
restaurant.
Let's
It'll
go to his
happen.
restaurant. Does he have a restaurant? Did you make?
I don't know. No, I mean, that's something that I
barbecue
had
pit.
heard.
If he's got a skeet shooting, I don't know what
It's called like Tony Kim's or something like that.
No, but I mean, I think it will happen eventually. Like, the Anthony Kim story will come out, and he'll talk, and eventually, and it'll be huge news in our world, at least when it does.
God, I would fucking love to see that. Hans says to Frankie, how is your elbow doing? From Hans.
Oh, hello, Hans. I'd say that it's in a better place, that I don't have the same pain that I used to have, but it's not recovered, if that makes any sense. Like, it's just...
Because you had elbow surgery like a year ago, right?
It's been about a year, yeah. Yeah. What I did right after the surgery, no one should ever do. I played 2 concerts for Pop Punk 13 days after the surgery. My elbow was still bleeding in a soft cast. I played for 2 hours in each show. 4 hours. We played all over the place. We played in Denver. We played in Indiana University. It was bad, and I was dipping my elbow in ice buckets after each song, and the water was bloody and gooky and just disgusting. So yeah, that's not a way to recover from elbow nerve surgery. So will I ever have to get it again? Probably, but I'm not getting that sensation in my fingers anymore. I just think the nerve is in a bad spot. Like, I could actually touch it like it's a button now. It's on the inside of my elbow. It's no longer...
What's the backstory to this injury?
I was getting tingling in my pinky and my ring finger, and a lot of it is from playing the drums and baseball and just not taking care and not working out. And then I think like it just slipped
Pizza
into a bad
reviews,
pizza
Rough and
review
Rowdy.
camera, rough and rowdy.
Straight
Not
up.
even kidding, dude. Like that rough and rowdy camera, like this injury is basically like when your nerve slips into like the funny bone, the two bones that connect right there. It slips in there and gets caught, and it's just like all the nerve, it's sending nerves to like the wrong spots, and your fingers start twitching. And that could happen as simply as falling asleep on a plane with your arms on both rests. Like if you're just in a weird spot, it could just slip in. Or driving long distances with your arms like locked in like this. Like this is what the surgeon was telling me. And I just felt it, and it was annoying. And my arm would wake up dead every morning. And I went to go check on my shoulder, and they're like, that couldn't affect your fingers. And he said it was your elbow. And honestly, dude, holding your phone like this, bro, where it rests on your pinky is bad. It puts all stress on that nerve. That's exactly what it is. So you always should have it like this.
I'm very concerned about
What?
in that same regard. Like, just I'm hunched over all the time. I've also recently gotten addicted to TikTok, which is just a new thing, and I just sit there and oh, dude, it's a problem. But I just I'm looking down and I'm scrolling and I'm looking at videos. It's got to be the worst thing in the world for your neck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
definitely
really
got to get one of those like balls and go like this at the end of the day. Like I have like kind of back problems, so I have this like ball. It's basically like a ball that's not fully inflated, and you just like lay back like that, and your back cracks, and it feels unreal. It basically like counteracts all of this by going like that.
Daddy.
Yeah, we're gonna.
This
I need a
ball thing every
I
night.
need
I'll send you one. I'll send you one.
Did
I
you ever
need an
get
Amazon link and a video.
what kind of procedures have you had that you'd like to talk about on a really popular podcast, Danny? Have you ever had like LASIK eye surgery? Nothing.
No surgeries. No surgeries at all. Actually, I have really sweaty hands. So there was talk at one point about getting like Botox in your hands, but it was kind of
Come on,
that's like a real thing. But it got
You get
worse.
Botox in your hands, we're kicking you off the podcast.
It's gotten better. Well, you guys will soon discover that I play golf with a rain glove on at all times because my hands are sweaty.
Bro, how sweaty are your hands?
Yeah, I have sweaty hands. It's actually
Is it-
not. It's
Makes
not as
good
bad
for
as it was
fucking
when I was a
jerking
kid.
off. Sorry, I don't.
It's not like
I don't know
based
you that
in
well.
anxiety. It's not based in anxiety.
Sorry.
It's just the sweat glands are overactive.
No, well, it's definitely worse when I'm nervous for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's
We're all
definitely
thinking what I'm thinking. How amazing of a problem that is.
So,
like, what are you talking about?
when
Save on
Tiger-
lubrication.
When Tiger melted your brain, were your hands just puddles up
You know
there?
what I'm talking about?
I'm sure they were. I'm sure. I mean, it was when I was younger, it was a lot worse, and I'd have to like when I was shaking someone's hand, I'd have to be like, hey, like just heads up here, like you're about to get super soaked.
You're probably telling your significant others that you're like, hey, when we walk, down this beautiful path, my hand's gonna be soaked.
Yeah, I think I just would just have to have a conversation up front where I'd be like, hey, my hands are really sweaty, so we can either talk about this every time or you can just like file that away.
Sweat's so weird.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not great.
Never had any surgeries?
No surgeries.
Well, I bring it up because Trent and I think are going to get LASIK. I mean,
Yeah.
you texted me today. I was a little
have
bit
to.
nervous about it. It's just like when I said I basically said to Trent, imagine being blind. Like imagine going into this and getting blinded.
But
That
I think
that would
like
fucking
Does that happen?
Is that like a real
Right.
possibility?
I know someone that personally that works at Barstool that told me a story about a friend that had a bad
I
situation.
know someone personally that told me a story about a friend. I thought you were going to say that you
13th
know
degree
somebody personally who went.
Yeah, but like I didn't want to say the person's name because like I don't know, but like their friend, someone at Barstool's friend had a
blind.
bad. No, they have to wear this like thing all the time now because like the surgery went horrific.
What,
Yeah,
glasses?
insurance payment
Like
was probably
$20,000 contact or something like that.
all
Like,
I hear
yeah,
all I
it's
hear when I
crazy.
hear that all I hear when I hear that story is that all right, great, then it's not gonna happen to me.
I'm just a little nervous about having a good life with my eyes, even though I need a little help. I wear contacts, I wear glasses, and then going in to get this procedure and possibly having something get messed up with that. You know what I mean? Like you're willingly messing up something that you can just live with. But you could also just get hit by a car walking into the optometrist or whatever. So it is what it is.
I think we're definitely going to do it. We have
got
to
do it.
If you got it, Trent, would you not need glasses anymore?
I think that's the goal.
You have to wear glasses, Trent. If you don't wear,
What?
I'm not saying even like for aesthetics.
You got your eyes fixed, Riggs. You got your eyes fixed.
I'm saying for aesthetics, for your look though, you're just a glasses guy. Don't you think
No,
so?
he'd look amazing, bro. He'd be fucking tough. Look at
No,
him.
that was always my main concern was like, I've been in this job and
I can't
I've
look at you right now. Put your glasses on for a
lived
second.
most of my life
Say it.
without
can't look at
glasses that
You look like
I
a ghost.
He does look tougher. He looks tougher.
He does.
Here's the thing. I'm
You're
not gonna
immediately less cute and cuddly, Trent. You're immediately like,
You need a Harley, bro, with that look.
you got an ID?
I want you guys to know that if I'm going to go through LASIK, I'm not going to then put on fake glasses and walk around. I'm going to look like I look right now.
I don't like it.
He's feeling himself. Look at him. He's checking himself out in the
You
camera.
should. You look great. You do
How
look
many
great.
years do you think you have to go to get the crease out of your head? Bro, he's got a legitimate crease where his glasses are, and they are in there. They are ingrained in there, bro.
It would
Just
be
slot him in the morning.
there would be an adjustment period for sure for everyone because I've been wearing glasses forever, certainly since I've had a public job, so people would have to get used to that. But I also would love to wake up in the morning and just be able to see. Like that would be incredible. Like right now, everybody's a little fuzzy, and when I wake up in the morning, it's like, oh fuck. I would love to just wake up and be like, wow, I can see everything. It'd
I
be
agree,
amazing.
dude. I would love that too. There's nothing I hate more. There's nothing I hate more than when like I wake up. This happened the other day. Like I had people sleep over at my house at a party the night before, and everyone's like downstairs, and I'm walking downstairs on my glass. Like I had to put my contacts in just to have a conversation with the people in my living room.
Are you doing
Like
this?
they're all like, yeah, they're all just like sitting there lounging, watching the TV. I'm like, hold on, I gotta like go get
Timmy?
plastic in my eyeballs right now. And like I'm hungover, there's plastic in my eyes, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that anymore. I'd rather just walk downstairs and be like, hey guys,
we can
do it. You guys
we can
gotta
film-
get LASIK.
We can film the whole thing. We'll make a video out of it. It'll be
well,
great.
yeah, some guy from we're supposed to have a call with him, but some guy from Northwestern reached out to me and was like, hey, I'm like this guy that does this.
I'm like this guy.
He seems
Doctor,
legit. He
right?
put all the things underneath his name and like italics.
How's
and
the
shit.
how's the ophthalmology department at Northwestern?
I would imagine it's top notch. It's
There
top
you
notch
go.
university.
It's a Northwestern
be
thing.
great.
to
No,
say.
but what you were saying about the LASIK is
notch.
there are glasses now that make colorblind people not colorblind.
Which you
And
are.
I've never tried them before. I'm kind of.
How
just
about we have this
waiting for the
new
right
guy,
moment.
Danny Rappaport, on the fucking show? It's a whole new thing. It's breaking news. We have him in the new group chat now with Pilar and Allison and Alex. We're talking about new merchandise, and this guy's talking to us about color schemes. He's like, "Hey guys, I'd actually like to see some options on these color schemes." And then at the end, he's like, "I'm colorblind, by the way." And we're like, "Well, your last 13 messages are about like color skews."
This
and,
is
like,
what happens
different
when you try to
variations of color.
bring ideas to a new job. You just never do that, people.
Wait,
just
so-
blend in. Just
Just got
blend
hung
in.
up on the colors, and then we find out you're colorblind. It's
You're
So
like,
I
I
know
love
there's-
everything about it except the colors. We're like, yeah, dude, because you see like brown. It's like red and blue.
There's
I-
varying
I
degrees
regret
to color blindness,
speaking.
right? So what is yours?
I would say like a 6 from 1 to 10. Like I'm pretty colorblind. Never really seen the color purple before. Never really see, which is ironic given Northwestern because they're all purple.
Right, it's a
But yeah,
very purple university.
Purple for me is just like a royal blue. But I'm not like, I can get around. I'm not
So like this hoodie I'm wearing where it's like a red on a blue, does that send your brain into a tizzy?
See, no, it's more just like that I believe you, and that's great. But if you told me that your hoodie was purple, I would believe you. And if you told me that the tees were red, green, or brown, I would believe you.
Because what do the T's look like?
Yeah, it's just colorblindness is basically you just don't have enough like sharpness in your eyes. So I can give you like a color range, like that's either yellow or green, but I can't quite.
Do you ever
lock
feel like you
in.
haven't truly seen the earth?
Well, no, because I don't know any different, which is why I'm kind of wary about trying these glasses on.
All right, if we want to go viral with Danny Rappaport, his first week on the job, you got to make one of those videos where you put the glasses on and you
those
see the
little
colors
kids.
and you just bawl. And you
Yeah.
just absolutely a million tears come out of your eyes.
that
You're
a
like,
transfusion?
oh my god, That's an incredible. It's an incredible Transfusion Thursday commercial where he puts on
is that what perfect Bermuda greens really look like? Oh my goodness!
I think that's
Jake.
that's
You're
a
on
can't
here.
miss
Can you
idea.
get him the color correction glasses? Thank you very much. We need him in Myrtle.
I think that's a can't miss idea.
I need to go to this auction draft.
Oh yeah, you
Oh
got fantasy
shit, that's
draft.
right.
My fantasy
that's
draft
tonight.
went like fucking shit the other day, man.
Yeah, Danny, you can take off if you need to.
Is that okay? Can I
Yeah,
just
get
leave?
out of here.
course.
Get out of here.
Okay, bye
Our
guys.
fourth always leaves.
I knew that.
Too
Sorry,
soon, dude.
that was a
Too
joke.
soon.
That was a
Too
joke.
soon.
Sorry.
No,
See you
that
later,
was-
Joe. You know
I
what
knew
I'm
that
saying?
was coming. I knew that was
Yeah,
coming.
it had to. I mean, it just had to.
I keep pressing the center of my face because I think my glasses are there and they're just not there. So I think this is now convincing me even more that I'm going to get LASIK.
I got cookie dough thawing out right now on my counter. You guys ever just take spoons full of cookie dough?
When it's
Yeah.
around, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, especially around Christmas time when my mom's making cookies and stuff.
Would you say the cookie dough is better than the cookie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
How do you
actually-
like your cookies? If you have just like a tub of cookie dough, you have a pan. How do you approach those cookies? I'm talking like pre-made cookies, like, so I don't want to hear about all the ingredients you put into it. But do you like to make them thicker and gooier? Or do you like to make them like stretched out and crispy?
I'm a crispy cookie guy.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't say I'm not crispy. I like soft. Like I like a soft chocolate chip cookie that kind of melts as you bite into it.
Every cookie's better straight out of the oven. So if I can get it in that time
True.
frame, then I'm in.
I think
Yeah.
so. Dave Portnoy is a chocolate chip cookie connoisseur, and I think he likes a little bit of a crunch on the outside and then the goo on the middle. You know what I mean? Like you could tell it's like a
Like that.
homemade.
Yep.
That's how I do like it. I need the crunch. I'm a crunch guy. That's why I like my bacon crispy. That's why I like. Dude, I made Brussels sprouts and I burned the shit out of them because like when the Brussels sprouts get crispy and browned and the leaves turn like blackened, I don't know if there's like a better vegetable snack ever like to add into your fucking bowl. It's so good.
Really good Brussels sprouts. I agree. They're delicious. If they're done right, they're not easy to do right. And then also asparagus is actually sneaky hard to do right because it cooks so fast.
Yeah.
But if you do it
Dude.
right, it's really good.
The other night we had asparagus, and I don't usually have asparagus because I have fear of my pee smelling. So I think that I've been
Fair.
fucked by big asparagus.
That'd be a radio drop. That would be a radio drop. I've been fucked by big asparagus.
Oh man, yeah.
Just fucked right in the ass by a big piece of asparagus.
So I've been fucked by big asparagus where like I always was afraid that like my pee was gonna smell so bad I'd like get nauseous when I go to like everyone's like, oh, it's so bad. So I always stayed away from it.
It's not that
And now I'm
bad.
starting to have it. And dude, we had like cheese. So we put grated cheese on the end of the asparagus and like crisped and burnt them up. And you were basically eating these like crispy ends of these asparagus. I was grabbing almost like I was gardening and I had a bunch of weeds in my hand. I was grabbing like eight of them and just putting them all in my mouth and just crunching on them. Dude, it was fucking
Asparagus
a
is good,
delight.
man. Like, prepared
fucking
right,
good.
it's really good.
Oh, it's great. Great little health, little vegetable supplement to a meal, I feel like. TrulyHardSeltzer.com. Make sure you go check them out. Remember, they bring to you from the gallery. So TrulyHardSeltzer.com. They get over 30 flavors, delicious, fresh, the whole deal. It's great. Hayden from Owensboro, Kentucky, did not submit favorite Truly flavors, so that's a problem. Cam Smith famously uses TBC Sawgrass as his home course, and it's where he practices. With that being the PGA Tour's headquarters and Smith going to LIV, do they ban him from even using the course in practice facilities?
That's an interesting question. Be kind of crazy if they did. That's a scene if they do that, in my opinion. But
Kind of weirder if they let him just go to, like, if you go to the PGA Tour's crown jewel home course where their headquarters are, and Cam Smith's out there every day practicing.
true, you can't let him.
I don't think you can let him.
In the current situation that we're in, I'm not saying that I would ban him. I'm saying that in the current environment that we're in, you got to ban him.
I think you have to ban him.
You have to.
It's a little
You're not-
spiteful. It's a little
Yeah,
weird,
this
but I
whole-
think you got
This
to.
whole thing is spiteful in both directions. Right?
It's a war, dude.
Right.
It's a fucking war, and there's battles everywhere. There's winners, there's losers, there's people catching shrapnel. You know,
Right.
Or
It's
lowering
spiteful.
the fucking boats and people taking bolts to the head. It is what it is, bro. War ain't fun.
Right,
This
and
is
that's
a
why it
fucking
was
battle.
such a big deal when Tiger and Rory are They're the guys who are like, we're the guys on this side of the war. It's like, damn, that'd probably be a decent side to be on if you're on sides.
Yeah, if we're doing the war analogy, Tiger and Rory showing up to that meeting was like when North Korea or like one of these like ridiculous, when they do those like war days where like the entire army is around like the missile and they like bring the missile to the town square. I picture Tiger and Rory like sitting on one of those missiles just getting loaded up into like the thing that's now aimed at the enemy. You know what I'm saying?
I think Trump wanted to do one of those. Did he end up doing one
did.
of those? He did one of those?
He didn't.
No, I think
do
they
one.
scrapped it. I think they
Yeah, because I remember the Zero Blog 30 crew talking about like how much if you're actually involved in, the military personnel that do those, like how big of a pain in the ass it is to actually do those things. But yeah, those like shows of strength. I feel like they do that in China a lot, or they do that in Russia. It's like around the Kremlin, where it's just like missiles and tanks just going through Times Square, basically.
No, I mean,
and a lot of the North Korea ones are like made out of plastic, or you know what I mean? They're like clay, and like they're not actually missiles.
Rory and Tiger was a show of force, if we're using that type of terminology. It's a show of force, and that's Game of Thrones terminology.
You guys ever watch that that YouTube video on how much we spend a day on presidents' security?
I think I watched that. Yeah, or how they
How much is it? Is it a lot?
Dude, oh my god, dude, you have to watch. I don't want to misrepresent like how much it is. It's an ungodly amount of money every day to protect the president, and they go into like just everything, how many cars and all the planning. It's a Wendover production, I believe.
Yes,
is the brand on YouTube. Wendover production basically just teaches you all about like why do planes cost what they cost, and like why does a first class ticket cost this, and a last row in the seat.
Why do the highways work? How do the highways work?
Right. It's a really good YouTube channel. So if they need any more pub, I think they have like 100 million subscribers. I don't think they need it from us. But go watch those videos. And there's one that's like, how expensive is it to just protect the president? It's fucking nuts.
There's great. I'm not going to give away the whole thing, and I couldn't even if I wanted to. But in that video, part of protecting the president is in his fucking juiced up Cadillac that he drives around in, or that he gets driven around in.
Hercules or whatever.
There are pints of his blood in the car. So if they get into a situation where he's losing blood, they can be like, hey, we have this excess blood for President Biden, so he's going to be okay.
And there's multiple of his cars, and they go in different directions, so like you would never know. And this is like when he shows up to like
when he goes for coffee, like
Traverse City, Michigan, to like go pick up cherries. You know what I mean? Like this is not to show up to a meeting. This is just to go down the street. It's fucking nuts. Also,
it's the most powerful person on the planet, so it makes sense.
It does.
I was thinking about that as you guys were talking. Like, because I started thinking about this during Game of Thrones, or the new House of Dragon, because they talk so much about power. Everybody's driven by power, and you're like, I'm trying to understand as I watch. Like, everybody wants to sit on the Iron Throne, but like, what does that really mean? Like, what is it? Are you really that powerful? And I was in the I News King. What is it again? Ares?
Say again?
The guy that's Viserys, who's the king now. Viserys. He's the most powerful person clearly in the realm, but also he can't even choose like who he wants to marry. Really, he can't even choose to like not want to marry. He can't even choose like. He's like worried about every minute of his life because he doesn't have like a male heir. People are going to like come kill him because they're going to take over. So he's like, is he really that powerful in the sense of he can't even control his own life. He can't even really get to do what he wants to do. And it made me think about like the president and how powerful is the president? Like, is Elon Musk just like more powerful because he could control things and do really whatever the hell he wants? And tomorrow, like Elon Musk will not get voted out of power. Like he'll just be worth $300 billion more plus forever and be able to literally do whatever he wants. Whereas the president, everyone's coming after his ass every second. Like everything that the president does is under a microscope. Running for president sucks. Being president sucks. So like, yes, you are powerful in that like he could just command a nuke strike, but like, does anybody ever just command a nuke strike?
But I think that the idea that you can do that is where the power comes. Because aside from that, it's all nothing. Like the fact that you have your finger on the pulse of the nuclear football, whatever they call it, that's the only thing that allows them to be them. Right. I struggle with understanding how we as humans just accept power. Like how even throughout all of history that like you're sitting at this table and you're looking at this other human and you're like, I have to answer to that human because they are who they are. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they're bigger and stronger and like they're not a different type of species that like if you don't listen to them, you are dead. They're just another human that like that was like born from another human, and because they have a certain last name, you have to just listen to them. They're sitting on a certain chair. And it's amazing that like everyone around them holds that power so that if you don't listen to them, you're dead. They're going to protect you. Like, but isn't that crazy that we just all listen to it? It's just as humans, we're all just, yup, that's it. That's power. That's what we do.
That is power. Lewis, that is the power.
What is the power? That we
it's
just
in
do
everything, though. It's like in everything. It's in bureaucracy in like organizations too. It's like there's a boss, and that boss like tells you what to do, and you're like
think about
afraid
that
of that
the
boss
time.
all day. It's fucking crazy,
dude. I think about that all the time. Like my buddy's like a
it's-
boss at his job. It's like you like people look at you and they just like listen to you. What are you talking about? What do you mean? You're just you. You're just you. No one should listen to anything you say. You know what I mean? They're humans too. They're older than you.
I guess they do have the ability to, administer some forms of punishment.
Why?
That's the system. I don't know.
Oh, the system's it drives me crazy. It's amazing that it's not chaos. Is my point. That we've gotten to the point where it's all just levels. And
sometimes it is chaos, man. Sometimes it just is chaos. That's like people, and there's people that root for chaos and they want chaos. Like you have to have order. It's like if you don't, you can't have everyone just doing literally whatever impulsive thing they want ever, because people are fucked up and they will do some really fucked up shit. It'd be like if you just had it's as simple as equating it to us. Like if you just had a golf course sitting there and no one working at it and no one it would be chaos.
It wouldn't be a golf course.
People be hitting shots and showing up, whatever. It'd be like you got to have order, and it's like they listen to like the guy in the will be like, you have to pay this, and then you have to go to the tee 7 minutes early, and then you have to wait. Like they tell you what to do, and they have power over you in that moment. It's like we showed up to a course one time on that and we were this is at Missouri Bluffs in St. Louis, and we had booked 2 tee times. And we only had 5 because like 3 of our guys get too hungover and they couldn't show up. But it was at like noon and there was nobody else around. And we were just going to play way slower if we played as a 3 and a 2. And we were going to have to wait on every hole. We were like, we're just going to play as like a 5. And the starter just like wouldn't let us do it. And the team, we were like, no, man, like it's just. And then we kept talking all day. We were like, it's insane that this guy just is more powerful than we are. Like, there's nothing we can do in this situation.
Yeah.
It was infuriating.
Now, do you think, and I'm not going to dive into religion. I don't want any fucking DMs about this. We're going to talk about the scientific version. We're going to talk about cavemen and all that stuff, right? Like if those are the first people on Earth, do you think it started right there where it was like 2 humans and one just was like, you have to follow me? Like they just decided that one was better than the other, like at hunting and gathering, like just by decision or just by nature, and they're like, you now follow me, I am your leader. Like how did that ever first happen? Then did it evolve from there?
I don't know the answer to that because that's a deep and philosophical question. But I do think the way that people's brains are wired, there are leaders and followers. I think that is 100% true. So, and then as you go along,
so you think it's in our DNA, and like you think that, yeah,
to a certain degree, yes.
Okay.
I do think there are people who are made to like lead and there are people who are made to follow. And you can get like, as you go further along in your life, you can acquire skills that make you one way or the other. But I do think inherently there are people who are leaders and there are people who are followers for sure.
And I would say the following even is like a pretty broad term of like, you might just be complacent and not give a fuck. And therefore you're just you're like, yeah, sure. I'll pay your taxes. I don't really care. Leave me alone. I want to watch TV. Whereas like other people are just ambitious and like, they're just go, go, go. And that translates to power. Like if you always want to accumulate more, like, there's probably a set number that you could get to that's basically infinity money. I don't know if it's like $1 billion or like $5 billion, but you could just, right? You're at a point where you don't need anything else. You have these people that just continue to try to like swallow up as much as they can.
Right.
And then, they do philanthropic stuff and they try to, but like, that's power, man. That is just accumulating endless power. And so I guess I would say like to bring that full circle for me and like understanding in House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones, it's like, it's never felt to me like whoever sits on the Iron Throne is even like that power. It'd almost be like, in this one, the guy with the ships who's like the most rich guy, like that guy is probably just as powerful. He could just kind of do whatever he wants. He's got
like,
more money and like.
Who is the Dick Cheney of the House of the Dragon? Is basically what we're trying to get to. Who is because
Right.
the guy on
fucking
top,
Otto. It's Otto is who it is.
Otto sucks, dude.
But he's a fucking snake.
Yeah, he is a snake.
And in that case, it's the Dragons. So it's basically the guy, it's having the nuclear football. It's like, at any moment we could just fly our dragons, and what are you guys going to do? And everyone's like, all right. Like,
it does seem
and then in that world, it's even more that because the dragons actually listen to that one family.
Right.
They won't even listen to you. You know what I mean? They can only say like Vicaris or whatever it is.
Right. They'll just like burn you on fire if you're not part of that family. They're just like, no, we don't care about you. You mean nothing to me.
That's interesting. It does seem like the person all the way at the top is so busy dealing with being the person at the top that they don't have any execution of the power that they hold. They don't ever use it.
And I will say, like, the only time I feel like I really see the powers, like, yeah, they get to make, like, the decisions. But even then, it feels like the council always steers them where they're supposed to make the decision. The only real time is, like, is obviously war and the dragons. But also, like, whenever they do those when people come to the throne and, like, make their cases and the whoever the king or queen is just like decides that part's awesome. I love when they do that.
Yeah, even when they're like, all right, just kill that guy. And then somebody fucking kill like that.
Totally. That's
great.
Like
that's the rawest version of that power where somebody does something like if they're walking through the street and some commoner is like, oh, they spit on, they're like, why don't you kill that guy? And then it happens, that's power.
It's incredible in Hardcore History by Dan Carlin, which I've brought up on the show a good amount, but they're long form, deep historical podcasts. In his one called Wrath of the Khans, which is all about the Mongols and Genghis Khan and basically how they became at a time like so much more powerful than anyone else because they had all these horse archers and they would just decimate armies, and their power was so severe and intense and dominant that like they would just they would arrive at massive ancient cities with huge walls, and they'd basically present to them like, hey, here's the deal, you have to like give us everything you have, all your gold, X amount that you're going to owe us in taxes every year, and like a horrific deal. And the cities would be like, obviously we're not going to do that. And then they would just murder and execute every single person in the city and like cut their heads off and rape all of their women and do it over the course of a matter of days and then just move on to the next city. And that was like, now that's just raw, real. Obviously we don't have that now, like not at least in the United States of America, but it is crazy, like power then and power that you see in Game of Thrones and stuff. I often think about like, how does that translate now into power? And I just watched I've been watching, I haven't finished it yet, the Hulk Hogan trial documentary of like him versus Gawker.
That's a wild one.
And Teal being behind the whole thing, like that's power in such a new age now. Like that almost felt Game of Thrones-esque, where he's fucking funding the entire
He just funds the whole thing
behind the scenes, and I'm like, that's fucking power, dude. Like that guy's over in fucking Silicon Valley making billions of dollars, and then some courtroom in Florida, he is just decimating the lives of two people who wrote shit about him and his friends that he didn't like, and ended an entire company who happened to hate Barstool Sports too, so they're gone. But it's just amazing that like that power that guy had was just pulling strings all over the place while accumulating billions of dollars, and was like, oh yeah, I just got like in this courtroom, I'm just decimating the lives of these people that wrote negative shit about me. It's fucking amazing.
It's
also,
pretty wild.
I mean, there's a lot of power even in the technology. What was that documentary that just showed how addicted we are to our phones? Like,
yeah.
Networking or something like that.
I actually refused to watch that. I couldn't watch it.
Dude, like Gmail is so addicting that like they actually had to have a guy whose job was to make it less addicting, and he couldn't do it, so he quit. He couldn't. He failed. He's like, my full-time job was to make this less addicting because I knew it was going to ruin the future of our civilization, and I couldn't do it. Because like they were putting in things where like if you put your phone down, they would send you another notification. And like they would know exactly when you had your phone down, when you looked at your phone, how to keep you in email, like certain colors that would make you want to like scroll and check your old emails. And that's just on email. Think about fucking TikTok and
just email, dude.
TikTok is working on me. I know that. It knows like I know that it knows when I'm like you're scrolling through all these videos, and I know that if I even stop on one for a little bit longer than I stopped on the last one, they're like,
the next
all right,
day,
he likes that.
Yep, 100%,
he likes that,
dude. I've been watching on Facebook. I'll go on Facebook from time to time, and the only reason I go on there is because I see videos I don't see anywhere else, and these videos are they are a guy that restores really rusty like swords and knives, or like a really rusty pan, and it's like ASMR, and he turns this rusty old pan that he found in like a fucking dumpster, and he turns it into a brand new black spanking new pan that he ends up cooking a steak on. And it's just like, bro, it's 5 minutes of this dude scrubbing this thing, and then it's like, oh, it's
Dude,
so satisfying. It makes me want to come.
Dude, my version of that on TikTok right now is this guy who does lawn care.
I looked at that last night, and I'm like, look at this shit. I was watching that all night last night.
He goes to properties that have been, abandoned and no one has been there for 10 years. And he brings all of his landscaping tools and lawnmowers and weed whackers, and he just makes it look fucking beautiful. And they speed it up a little bit, so you're watching him mow and he's going all over the place. And it's like 5 minutes, and it's the most satisfying video you'll ever watch.
Edging, everything is just so fucking good.
It's also like technology addiction, social media addiction. I know it's been true with Twitter and Instagram. I've always known that. TikTok is another animal, my friends. It really is.
And it's the last thing you needed. I've watched you on your phone. You're always, you have your thing. You go to Instagram, Twitter, and now you got TikTok in there. I fear for that brain in there. That's a lot to handle. TikTok's a lot, bro. I've yet to make an account.
I just made an account, Barstool Trent.
Oh, there you go.
9. So feel free to check that out.
Let's go, Trent. Barstool.
You have to in our business. We all got to make accounts. It's just.
I know. And then I was in a TikTok with Rhea and Tommy and Fran today, and then you get tagged in that, and you start getting more followers. So that's going to be an addiction of mine as well. But yeah, TikTok is a problem for sure.
Dude, I watched them making cupcakes and them like lining the cupcake with the icing, perfect circles. Like, who are these people that do this? You sometimes just want to like be in awe, and then other times you just want to laugh. That's just like how our brains are work. Bro, I watched.
You also realize it doesn't take much, right? Like, a Marvel movie is like, whoa, holy shit. But also, if you just mow your lawn fast, I'll watch that too.
Dude, I was watching Tom Segura and Louis C.K. talking on that fucking podcast, on the Tom Segura's podcast. They show Louis the video of the dude getting pinned up against his wall in his garage by a car. Yeah. And I don't know if I've ever laughed harder in my entire life than watching that dude get pinned up against his wall in his garage. It's a fucked up video, but fuck, man, like that's all it takes for me is like, and then their reaction to it, Louis like, oh my God, everything about that video is what I need to just be dumbed down, sat down in a chair, and I'll just laugh to myself for hours. And that's how dumb we are as humans. Like, that's all I needed to see.
The internet's full of them.
Oh.
Look, we spoke about how lawns and how nice and satisfying having a lawn is. Well, if you get a home through Cross Country Mortgage, you can have your own lawn. Frankie, you have your own lawn, right?
I've got my own lawn. I'm having trouble with my lawn this
It's a problem right now.
It's a problem right now. We got a lot of crabgrass. I think
no good.
The problem was that like it was so hot, and we moved in here, and I don't think the landscaper put enough stuff down in the backyard. It's doable. It's nice. It's just not a fairway back there. I want it to be perfect. And there's fucking crabgrass everywhere because it's so hot on Long Island, and it grows and spreads. But I do have a house, and I got it through Cross Country Mortgage. I never would have gotten a loan if it wasn't for Chris Devon at Cross Country Mortgage. We have an amazing partnership with these people. They're people helping people. They send you every single breakdown of what you need, what you have, what you're going to expect for the next 30 years. Think about this decision, guys. 30-year decision is what I made. That's an insane decision. I'm going to be 59 years old when I'm still talking about this cross-country mortgage stuff. So that's a lot to handle. That really is a lot to handle. Like, where will I be in 30 years? I don't know, but I'll be cutting a check to cross-country mortgage. That's all I know. So that's how important that is.
Cross-country mortgage. They got faster closing times than the competition, stable monthly payments, and low to no down payments. Access your equity to use for larger expenses, from debt consolidation to home renovations. Home renovations are great. See if you qualify today. Visit ccm.com/barstool right now. Cross Country Mortgage LLC, NMLS 3029. All loans subject to underwriting approval. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. We love Cross Country Mortgage. They're great. They're real. They're raw. They're personable. You're going to like using them. So go check out Cross Country Mortgage today. All right. Let's go through Topher. Topher says, do you think the best putter in the world plays on the PGA Tour / another pro tour, or do you think the best putter in the world could be just a local stick in any town, USA, or somewhere else in the world?
It's got to be a pro, right? I think it just has to be.
No, I think we talked about this already.
Really?
Oh, was it just putting? Well, we talked about how like a long drive guy is just a better driver than anyone on tour at driving, but like they don't have the other things to be a pro golfer. But there's definitely someone better at driving on somewhere else in the world than everyone, than Rory, than everyone. There has to be.
What's better mean?
Longer,
better.
straighter, consistent, like just more higher numbers, higher swing speed.
I think
launch.
putting is easier to like get your head around, right? If you're a good putter, you're a good putter. If you're a driver with a golf ball, you hit it long, you hit it straight. Like how can you shape it? Like those are different to me.
And I guess if you're going to talk about like situational driving, but that's not fair to the people that haven't been put in the situations. Like, oh, Rory's able to step up and hit an amazing drive in a playoff hole. But this guy that plays in his backyard that hits the ball 420 yards doesn't get that opportunity to do that. I do think that there are people that possess the skills. Like, dude, there's basketball players that are like better shooters than like Steph Curry. You see these videos of some of these guys. Like,
I don't think that's true.
Bro, but because he's situationally in the NBA, but if you're just talking skill, I think there's like people that have perfected it. Like there's videos on YouTube all the time of like these dunks. If you ever see these guys, they're like doing flips and in between the legs. And like guys like LeBron are like, we couldn't even do that. Like, are you insane? Like this guy's perfected like trick dunking.
Yeah, but I don't know if just being tricks is like equivalent to just like being able to score more points. You know what I mean?
I almost think that's. Yeah, like driving and dunking to me are similar, just like putting and shooting are similar to me. Like I genuinely think Steph Curry is the best shooter on planet Earth. But I do know there's probably guys who can jump higher than LeBron and they can probably have cooler dunks because they can stay up in the air longer.
Yeah, I think you're putting everything in situational because Steph Curry is the best in the NBA of all time. He can make a three at any time. But if we're talking about skill, like who can hit a three or like who can hit a drive the best in the world, who can step up to a tee and hit the best drive possible, there has to be someone that has gotten it done better than Rory McIlroy.
But I guess I would say like if you took someone, like I don't know that that's an equatable. Yeah, like if you took that same person and you took Rory McIlroy and you said like, all right, over the course of the entire season, like who's going to gain more strokes driving? It's going to be Rory McIlroy, I think, because he's going to hit it like straighter and longer. But yeah, that is a fair point. Like there's someone in the world that if you stood on the first tee at like Augusta, then like you said you get 10, I get 10, like that someone long drive person is going to hit it one of those drives like better than Rory McIlroy's best drive.
I think it's significant.
But consistently, then it swings back in Roy's direction, which I think is ultimately determines better.
It's whatever opinion. It's like whatever your version of whatever you want better to mean. I think it would be like your best versus your best one shot. You know what I mean? One shot or 10 shots. Like
you also hear, like I remember hearing a story about DJ. Maybe it was that TaylorMade Media Day where someone challenged him to a long drive. And because the person who challenged him had looked at the numbers and been like, these are the averages and this is what it is. But then he can take the governor off when he wants to. Like the one he puts in tournament play, DJ, is one where he knows where it's going. But if he wants to rip the cover off the ball and he wants to get into a long drive contest with somebody, he can make it happen. I'd be curious if Rory has a similar gear.
He for sure, I think, does.
Dude, remember when we were at Media Day with us? I mean, I think it's in the video where Rory carried it, 340 something? He carried it.
Like he carried one 345 at Eastlake or something this week, if I remember right.
That's unbelievable.
Did we talk about this hypothetical before we finish up this show? I remember talking about it on the golf course. So I don't know if I was with my buddies or we were together, but it was basically I was saying if you were like a video game character, like PGA Tour 2K23, and you had to like put all your sliders, like your attributes, if you could make one of your attributes 100, what would you pick? And like, what do you think would make you the best golfer possible? So, and I think we broke it down to driving, irons, wedges, putting.
I think it's irons for me.
I'm going to say irons too, and that has changed from driver because I believe whenever we had a similar conversation, that was like, if you could be the best in the world at one attribute, what would it be? And I said driver, and somebody convinced me. They're like, dude, imagine if you could just paint flag sticks all day, every day, no matter what, no matter where you were, no matter where you drove it, like how good you could be at golf and how fun that would be. So I think I'm going to say irons.
I think if you broke down, I think like Tiger at his best, or even like a Morikawa nowadays, like when you're the best iron player in the world, you're the best player in the world, because everybody, especially at that level, can sort of putt and can put the driver in the fairway, or they can put themselves in a good spot. I think when you're irons, like you're saying, Riggs, when you can just drop it next to flag sticks, you are unbeatable.
But dude, like, all right, so in that same category, in that same question, what do you think peak Tiger Woods' putting attributes were at? Like, would you say that they were a 91 or like an 88 or 95? Like, imagine being 100 putter where you're just draining everything. It's like, it's fake video game shit. It's like when you play NBA and you put Steph Curry all the way up to 100 and you can make all the full court shots. It's like, dude, I think with my game right now, I'm hitting drives decent. I'm getting around the green. I'm getting on the green in 2 almost like pretty consistently. Imagine I made everything. It'd be like, I'd be on tour tomorrow.
But see, I don't know that 100 would mean you make everything, right? Like I think
But you'd be the best putter ever.
Right, like, but like 100 iron doesn't mean you're jarring everything from the fairway.
It does not.
Then it shouldn't be the same for putter.
Right. I don't think you. No, but I think you're making everything. Like, I'm being sarcastic, but you're making all the ones you usually like are close to like a 10-foot putt. If you're 100 putter, you're making a 15-foot putt. You're making like there's a level. Obviously, I think you're thinking like 60-foot putts. No, I don't think you're making those, but you're definitely getting them to tap in range. You're the best putter in the world. You're never 3-putting. You're always 2-putting.
Yeah, but it'd be interesting. Like if you looked at like whoever number 2 in the world in putting is, if their putting is like a 97, you're only like 3% better than they are at putting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're 100.
Yeah,
So
it's
I'd be
like
curious
which
what they
skill
are.
which skill has the biggest gap from 1 to 2?
For keeping in the video game realm, I think like when you think about Madden and NBA, like when guys are 100, it's like the legacy players that they bring back, where like you can pick like 04 Peyton Manning or something like that, where he was like the best of, you know what I mean? Some random fucking year.
You'd
like
be like Spieth in 2015, just making
Right.
everything.
Yeah,
Like, you'd
but I
be
guess
dropping.
I guess the reason I still pick
Yeah.
irons is if your irons are great, then you don't have to be that great of a putter. Like you don't
Yeah.
have to be like if you are, but if
how
you're a bad iron
infuriating
player,
would it be, Trent, if you were a 100 iron player and a 22 putter and you're just missing everything? Like you're missing
But I
birdie
don't-
putts left and
But
right.
you'd be so much better at golf, I think, than you are now if you flipped it. I think.
Really?
Like,
yeah, I agree.
all of us.
so you
like-
think it's irons for sure.
I just think you would never be having that bad of a day if you're the greatest iron player in the world.
What
Whereas
about
I think-
wedges? Doesn't that solve both issues? Where like you don't hit the green because your irons aren't that good, but then you just hit, like either chip it in or you're just right on the edge. So you don't really have to putt. You'd never have to putt. If you're the best wedge player ever.
But I think like irons. Honestly, I think irons would you'd always be in the hole. Like you would never not be in great shape. You could never have that bad of a day because you're just hitting the ball where you want with your irons all day long. Whereas I think even if you're the best putter in the world, like if your driver and your swing just sucks that day, you might be like hitting it out of bounds. You're just like, oh, putting for 7, I made it. It's just like it could be a grind of a day. Whereas I think if you're the best iron player or the best driver, like
Yeah,
you're gonna be.
You do got to be out there. You got to be in the fairway.
Yeah, you need to be in a good spot. But like I think I said this last time too, is if you're the best iron player in the world, you're a 100 iron player, you could probably hit your 2-iron off the tee like 270 yards and like hit
Yeah.
it dead straight all the
True.
time.
That's
So
true.
you could just paint your way around. Like you'd be a magician and then you'd just be normal shit us on the greens. It'd be pretty funny actually.
Yeah, I think it's irons.
I think I'd take putting. I think I might have said driving last time, or I might have said irons the last time we talked about this. I think I'm putting now. Just if I'm adding it to my game tomorrow.
Right, because your putting like isn't ideal at the
My
moment.
putting's not ideal, and I just think you'd win so many matches. Like if you're not trying to make it onto the tour, like if you're just the best putter in the world and you show up and you start draining these like delicate right to left 15 footers every hole, and people can't believe that like, yeah, you maybe like Maybe you like hit one of the trees off the tee and you like knocked one up in front of the green. You chipped up to the back of the green. Now you're just like draining these 25 footers. People can be like, "Are you fucking kidding me, this guy?"
You can rattle people's cages too when you just make putts and matches. It's infuriating. And on the other end, it's so satisfying when that ball just drops into a hole. The hole's over. You finished it. You did the thing. It's so satisfying.
And I think as an opponent in a match, you're almost happy that your guy picked irons because, all right, each hole you're like, this dude's striping irons. But when I get to the green, there's a chance he just misses that birdie putt. There's a chance he misses that par putt. He's a horrific putter. His pace is so off. He's putting it off the green. Like, he's just not good. He's a Trent or me. Like, we have no idea what we're doing out there. We're blind. So it's like I'm still in this hole. I think if you're against a Kevin Kisner type putter, you're never in the hole. It doesn't matter what they did going up there.
Yeah.
You're just giving them a chance.
You could always be caught. Like, you could be caught at any
time.
moment. You know?
Downhill
like
putt. It's like, fuck, now I'm putting from fourth putt.
So you don't have a lead. You're just like, and even like you're scared every time you get on the green because even when they don't make it, it almost goes in every time. And you're like, fuck, this guy's relentless.
Oh, Kisner's like comment to you that was on Instagram where he said, have you like how does it feel to have a opponent that just never messes up once? And you're like, it feels amazing. He's like, I've never had that ever. It must be cool. Also shots at Scott Brown when he said that.
Brownie's great.
He's been his partner.
We have to talk about real quickly our friends at the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. We're going to paint, you're hanging out with some friends. We're going to paint a picture, putting back a few drinks, having a couple cocktails. We got a long weekend coming up. A few becomes a few too many as the evening gets to an end and people are starting to head out. You think of calling for a ride, but you live nearby. You don't want to wait. You can make it home. It's an easy drive. It's no big deal. What are the odds you'll get pulled over anyways? And even so, what's the worst that could happen? Your insurance goes up. You lose your license. You lose your job. Maybe you total your car. Maybe you kill someone. Everyone knows about the risks of driving drunk. The results are tragic and often deadly. However, that still doesn't stop everyone from getting behind the wheel while under the influence. That's why police officers are out there right now looking for impaired drivers on our roads to save lives. That's what they're doing. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, please think again, play it safe, and plan ahead to get a ride. It only takes one mistake to change your life or someone else's tragically forever. So drive sober or get pulled over. Just do not drink and drive. It's very foolish. We are lucky to live in an age now where you can get a ride incredibly easily. You can call an Uber or a Lyft or a friend or just go to sleep somewhere on a couch. It's not worth it. You could kill someone. You could kill yourself. It's very, very silly. So please do not do that. All right. Trent, what else are you watching on TikTok? What else you get into on TikTok? I'm curious because I've avoided it for the same reasons I think you were avoiding it.
Well, I'll tell you, I was actually telling Frankie about this when we were shooting Breaking 90, but one of the things that keeps popping up in my algorithm is murder confessions.
Wow. Dude, I watched that last night too to try and get a feel for what my friend is doing, and I couldn't get into it. And then it turns into
scared
the shit out of me.
Oh
dude.
yeah, murder confessions turns into just creepy TikToks where it's text on the screen and there's creepy music playing, and it'll just tell you about this guy like 100 years ago who killed 15 people and just got away with it. And it's like, fuck. Now, I'm about to go to bed.
Don't you want to
now
just
I'm
look
watching
at
this
boobs and butts and stuff? Like, what are we doing, bro? I sat in bed. I'm like, this girl was sitting there in a confession room being like, yeah, and I shot my husband, and then he was twitching, so I didn't want him to suffer, so I just shot him in the head like 3 or 4 times, and then that did him in. So I'm happy that he didn't really have much pain. And they're like, holy shit, like, who are these people, and why is this on TikTok?
The other thing that I got caught in the other night, and I legitimately got caught in
upset that I asked. I shouldn't have asked.
No.
Fuck,
But
dude,
this one's
bad.
better. This one's better. I got for like 3 hours. I got caught into soldier homecomings, which is
3 hours,
dude. You just get wrapped up in them, and you're just you're crying, and you're just. It's so beautiful. They're surprising their parents. They're surprising their significant other. They're surprising their dog, and their dog is like, "Holy fuck, man! I didn't know you were ever coming back." and it's just you just get caught up in these wormholes of whatever the algorithm decides that you have become interested in, and they're usually right. Like the things that I'm seeing in my algorithm are the things that I'm stopping and looking at. So it just keeps feeding you what you're watching. Yeah, those homecomings, man. I got stuck in those.
Remember when you were anti-dog on this podcast and you said that dogs don't actually have feelings; they're just waiting to get fed?
I do remember saying that. Yeah.
Do you stand by that?
There's a part of me that still believes that. They see that person coming home from wherever, even if it's just a person that went out and was getting coffee. They're like, that's a person that feeds me. That's fucking dope that they're
Come
back.
on, bro. It's scientifically proven that they have feelings and memories.
Okay.
You don't believe that. You want to stand by that. Like a year later, you still stand by that dogs have no feelings.
I don't flip flop. I'm just saying that there's part of me that thinks like, yeah, in all the examples that you're giving, like, yeah, they have memories and they have feelings, and the memories are, I remember when that person fed me.
You don't think dogs feel love and happiness, and that like seeing a person that they're comfortable with makes them happy? It has nothing to do with, maybe they're full at that time. It has nothing to do with food. You don't think it ever has nothing to do with food?
Stop feeding that dog and see what happens.
That's crazy to me.
I love dogs.
It's a false sense of love then. Like when you're hugging them and they're licking you, you're like, so Trent Ryan's brain thinks that when this beautiful golden retriever is like on its belly and I'm rubbing it,
you're projecting human consciousness onto a dog. You're being like, oh, they definitely feel everything that I feel for sure.
No, but
yes?
no, I'm not. I'm just saying that maybe. I mean, I would assume that they have like similar feelings to us. I don't know that that's a bad thing to project onto them. That they.
I would imagine their brains are quite different than ours.
It's just amazing that you can still get the enjoyment out of the love of a dog when you think it's all for them just getting fed. Like it's a fake love. Then it's almost like
no, they definitely still love you.
They're masking it. They're masking it.
Why can't the love be based in food? Why is there? What's wrong with that? They see you, they're like, fuck yeah,
that's not how love works.
Point.
Why not? That can be how love works. It can be how love works for a dog.
It's just
I don't understand. You want them to have every feeling that you have, and I just don't know if that's necessarily true.
No, I want the love to be genuine. Like
it is genuine. It is genuine.
I love you.
Then what do they want? They want to love your They want to love your hair color and that. Oh, no, I love the way.
I love you for all the stuff you do for me, for like walking me and for like rubbing the backside of my ear and like and giving me haircuts and all these things. Like I love you for all that stuff, from saving me from the shelter. Like it has nothing to do with because of the biscuits you feed me. I mean, maybe it has some of it to do with it, but like I would hope that there's some love and genuine care from a dog. Do you think that's an impossible feat?
I just don't know if it's true.
Oh,
I don't know.
That makes me depressed then.
Why? I think my mic like went out or something. I still love dogs.
I know you love dogs. That's why I'm trying to wrap my head around how you can.
Oh yeah, I think my mic came unplugged. No, I still love dogs. I love dogs. I really do. I actually want to get one really badly, but we travel so much. But yeah,
same.
I don't know.
Same. I've been thinking that for a couple of years now. Oh,
fuck,
it'd be
dude,
awesome.
I can't believe my mic came unplugged or something.
What's going on with
Trent
you
with
guys
a French
and your
bulldog or something, dude?
I just want something to hang out with me, but it's just tough when we travel so much, and I don't know when the travel's gonna let up. So
you don't want to be a shitty dog owner, you know.
I do not want to do that. I want to be around to feed them so they'll love me.
Ah.
Wow. Yeah, I'm a little torn, to be honest with you. I think you both. I wish that it were like Frankie, but I also think that that's sort of like me wishing like Toy Story was real and my toys were real and could like hang out with me. Like they're not.
Right. Yeah. Would I love my dog to love my personality and be like, oh, Trent's so cool and like he's got a great job and man, he's cool. But like I don't think those things come into account.
Fuck. You're devastated, Frankie.
Yeah,
you can still love dogs, dude, because I still really love dogs. They're great.
I'm just gonna choose not to believe you. I'm gonna.
That's fine. And by the way, there's a very good chance that I'm super wrong. Who fucking knows?
I was out with friends and they have such a cute dog, Nala, like the cutest little. It looks like, I mean, it's a bigger dog, but it looks like a fluffy. I don't know what kind of dog. Maybe a doodle. It's like a doodle type of dog, but just looks like something you'd get at Build-A-Bear. And they have the camera set up, and we were out at dinner getting margaritas, and we're looking at this thing, and like this dog is just staring at the door inside their apartment, just being like, when are those people coming home? You know what I mean? And it's so devastating. Like, how do you even leave the house? How do you leave the house when you have a camera and your dog's seeing how sad they are?
Yeah, I don't. That camera thing, I don't know that I could do, or I wouldn't want to check in on it unless it's like an emergency. But then I guess I guess if you're gonna have it, why the fuck wouldn't you check in?
How about they said that the dog? How about they said the dog would sometimes go up to the camera to see if they were in the camera because they know when they set up the camera, and then they leave. Like there's something to do with that. So like the dog will pop up on the couch and look inside and be like, "You in there?"
You in there? I'm hungry.
Yeah, exactly. Starving. Trent, you look like a fucking dog looking for his tail right now. What's happening?
I don't know if my mic works. Oh, there we go. It's working now.
That sounds good. Yeah, that sounds like
yeah, no, I would love to get a dog.
What dog would you get?
I don't have any specifics. I would just adopt one. I would find one. I don't have a specific breed in mind. I would just,
We had I've had a Australian Shepherd and had a Chesapeake Bay Retriever, which was basically a souped up version of like a chocolate or a Chesapeake Bay like lab, which is basically a version of a chocolate lab. We thought it was a chocolate lab forever, and he was huge. His name was Marvin. He was huge. He was like fucking 100 pounds. And then eventually somebody came to us that actually knew what they were talking about, that, I don't know, came and visited or something like that. And they were like, I don't think this is a chocolate lab. This thing. So he basically was like a steroided version of like a chocolate lab, which I think turned out to be like a Chesapeake Bay Labrador or something like that.
Wow. We never knew what kind of dogs we had. We would just go to the shelter. You pay $90 for them, and they were just whatever they were. They never had any sort of. They weren't purebreds in any way. So they were the dogs. I don't know what they were. Lucky and Sammy. Shout out to them. R.I.P.
Damn.
Those are good names, Lucky and Sammy.
Sammy Sosa, and then I don't know why Lucky. I don't remember why.
My dog's named after a baseball player, Jeter.
Oh, nice.
Little Maltese. I love that guy.
Somebody was asking me good female dog names the other day.
Nala's a good one. I like Nala.
Nala's a really good one.
I love human names for dogs.
Yeah, like Edward.
Right, Ralph.
Yeah, that's great.
Like
you know who my favorite?
Dude. By the way, dibs on Ralph for whenever all of us get dogs. I've been thinking about Ralph forever. So
Ralph's great. Ralph's great.
Imagine if Ralph was sitting on that chair back there. Fucking Ralph.
I think you need a Ralph, dude.
It's the only missing piece.
You're living by yourself. You can get a fucking someone to come in and check on Ralph all the time while you're traveling. You're home enough. Every time I bring
up a dog, you tell me not to get one.
Well, now that you pointed at the chair, I could picture a dog there. It makes me want you to get a dog, dude, right there. I think you'd do great with a fucking like a French bulldog, like a nice, fat, meaty, like lazy dog that just wants to sit on the chair all day.
You guys are part of the reason why I'm not getting a dog, because we all have this job and we all travel a ton. If you guys give me your blessing that I'm going to be able to have a dog and still make this thing work, I will get a dog in the next week.
Maybe wait for like a year. I mean, we're still grinding on travel.
Like a year.
Right now,
my thinking was next fall. I think I'll be in a place where I can get a dog.
Okay.
Yeah, a little less travel. Well, yeah. Hopefully things will be like we'll know where we're going. Right now we're going to everything and everywhere.
Right.
It's like you gotta somehow be somewhat connected to your home if you're gonna get one. So yeah, I would wait a little bit.
All right. I like that.
You know what dog? Tunnel. Aside from my own dog, I think my favorite dog on the planet is Alexander Cooper's dog, Henry. I mean, it's just the best dog of all time. It actually makes me tear up just thinking about it. I love that dog. I love Henry more than I love most people in my life. When she puts him up, and listen, she's not a Barstool employee anymore. It is what it is. Call her daddy. She's a superstar now. Merchandise, everything's still good with that. Whatever she does with that dog, I mean, that dog is so fucking funny. And when he's galloping on the beach and meets a friend or something, it's the best. It's
Riggs, are you aware of this dog? Because I got put on to this dog. Okay. I got put on to Henry like a year ago. No, it was Hubs who put me on to him.
Really?
Yeah, he was like, you got to check out.
Because I follow her on Twitter and Instagram. Is this like TikTok? She puts them on TikTok.
No, her Instagram story, dude. Her Instagram story.
Maybe I just don't follow her stuff on Instagram.
The second you lay eyes on Henry, you're not going to believe he's like a human.
He is like a human. He's this big, fluffy fucking dog. It's an incredible dog. There's no doubt about it.
he's like a golden doodle, but he's more golden than he is doodle. So I think that's why he has like the really fluffy, straight hair as opposed to like the curly hair. It's amazing.
I'm always worried Henry's too hot, but they seem to. I mean, he seems to be living a pretty great lifestyle, so they've probably got that figured out.
I wonder if this clip gets to Alexander Cooper. Is she on such another level at this point where she doesn't even know that people are like this? Would never even
chance.
Dude, no way. I mean, she obviously knows people
Look
love
at how
Henry.
fluffy this guy is.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Dude, and then she'll post videos of her like rubbing him down and he's just loving it. The slow motion videos of him running into the bed. Oh my god.
It's really great. And no, there's a 0.000, maybe a negative chance that Alex.
You think she knows who we are at all from being in
now
the
I'm
office?
just looking at pictures of Alex Cooper, so I gotta put my phone down here.
You don't think she remembers us at all? Facial at all?
I don't think she ever knew who we were.
Yeah, me neither.
There's no way.
I don't think so.
That's crazy. She's got a fucking cute dog. It is what it is.
Henry.
All right, boys.
Great name.
That's been
Great
about
name.
2 hours here.
Human name.
I'm gonna go eat some fucking cookies.
They
Why don't
might
you go eat
have
some
baked
cookies?
on the counter with how long this podcast has been.
It's true.
We can do Shopify real quick, and then we'll throw in the interview with
Oh,
Callum
yeah.
Tarren, which we're going to do tomorrow. You guys like that?
Yep,
love
Shopify,
that.
the all-in-one commerce platform to start, run, and grow your business. Shopify gives entrepreneurs the resources once reserved for big business. We're kind of entrepreneurs on our own with this little foreplay brand we got here. We just hired somebody, so we're very entrepreneurial. We're just doing the damn thing. Upstarts, startups, and established businesses alike can sell everywhere, synchronize online and in-person sales, and effortlessly stay informed. Shopify offers online retailers a suite of services, including payments, marketing, shipping, and customer engagement tools. Connect with your customers, drive sales, manage your day-to-day. Shopify instantly lets you accept all major payment methods. Go to shopify.com/Fore, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial. You're not missing anything, so you just need to make sure that you do that. It's free. It's 14 days. You can get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. You're not going to lose anything. You might as well do it. Grow your business with Shopify today. Go to shopify.com/Fore right now. That's shopify.com/Fore for a free 14-day trial. All right, that's it. What a show. Fun little Tuesday night. This is going to be coming out Thursday. If anything else breaks or happens, we can jump on and talk for a few minutes. But everybody have a great Labor Day weekend, long 3-day weekend. Next time we come to you, we will be live from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We're going to be there for 4 or 5 days. We'll be playing a bunch of golf. We'll be doing all kinds of sandy white beaches and going to condos and villas and all kinds of dinners. It's going to be amazing. I think we're going to be doing some cooking. So we're going to be filleting fish, I think, and cooking.
Yeah, and we all just got a tweet while we're on here. Some guy went back and watched all of our abandoned series and was like, I was craving like a list of like ranking the best courses, ranking the best restaurants, ranking like the best activities at the end. Like, can you guys like just like so that it's so much easier visually, so I can see like exactly when I'm booking the trip what to do, as opposed to like having to watch all your videos where like you have to watch an hour and a half video, see what kind of restaurant they went to.
Nope.
So we will watch the video. I like that, but we'll upload some sort of recap, best to do. I think that'd be great. Also, like you put it on Twitter or something. Like if you're going to Myrtle Beach, here's like the crash course on what to do at the end. At the very end, here's like a 1-minute recap of where to go, how to do it, and what to do. So we're gonna have that in mind when we go to Myrtle Beach. By the way,
I like that. I
Yep.
think we should rank. We should each rank our own courses too. So, each do our own rankings of the courses we played too. So we have like a whole graphic that's got each person's rank.
mm-hmm.
I like it.
All right. We got Callum coming up next. Only saw him in Minnesota, so I'm excited to catch up with him again on the finish to his season. He made it in the FedEx Cup playoffs and the whole deal. And then we'll be back after Labor Day weekend. Be safe. Do not drink and drive. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard. I'm gonna miss the interview, I think, but tell Callum I think he's hot.
Okay, I will. Yeah, I think we just start ripping, Trent Daddy. Welcome.
Awesome.
Any more hole outs? Any more fucking long putts made?
No, I mean, you saw my greatest bunker shot in the history of my life. And I don't know, I need you around more so you can see more of them, because the luck just hasn't been there without you.
Yeah, it was fucking unbelievable. Has that video been compiled yet? I need to see that.
Have we put that out yet, that video? The 3M Pro-Am?
We haven't put it out yet, I don't think. I think we got that slated. That's coming. And I think we had to be a little bit tricky with Tour's a little protective of media, and it had to be a certain period of time since the tournament. So I think we're kind of working through that. I didn't even get to see that because I got pulled away for the to hit, absolute banana super blocks into the fucking water in front of
Dude,
200 people.
The thing we were really hoping, because it was a par 3 that we were playing, and there was this technology on the tee where they had put a camera on the pin. So whenever you hit your tee shot, if you hit a hole in one, obviously it's the greatest video of all time. And I hit one into the bunker, and then I made my second shot, and I ran back there as the other guys went to the next tee, being like, was the camera on to see my bunker shot? And they said, absolutely not. That camera was only on for the tee shots. So we didn't get that footage of it, but we had enough cameras out there.
What a bad system. That should be recording at all times.
The whole time. I couldn't agree more.
I mean, yeah.
So, Callum, I have to say, Frankie had to catch a flight. He was devastated to miss, and he told us to tell you that he thinks you're really handsome.
Oh, thanks, bud. Appreciate it.
Yeah, he was bummed. He was devastated. He's hopping a flight to Colorado. He, of course, in Frankie fashion, has a family trip and then a celebration he's going to that he doesn't want to be photographed at. So he's got a whole thing going on. Yeah, a whole deal in his head. So you told me, you were saying just before we started recording that you just kind of got the clubs out. How long has it been since you kind of got the clubs going?
Couple of days. I kind of hit some balls end of last week and just knocked the rust off, really. I've been down for maybe 2 weeks now, since obviously that's when I missed the cut in Memphis. I got straight home, and I've just left them in the garage for a few weeks, which is what I needed. I think it's been a long
for somebody.
Yeah,
somebody like you, like that first swing. Is that like you have no idea where it's going to go, or is it pretty pure?
No, it's definitely, I don't have a clue where it's going to go. If I'm going to chunk it, hit it sideways. I mean, to be honest, that first session back last week, that's the best I've ever felt picking the clubs up from a break. But then the second session was pretty dicey.
What does a break like that do? Because I feel like we hear that a lot from professional golfers, where they'll show up to a press conference and someone will ask them, like, how's your game? And they'll say, I haven't touched a club in a month or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. What does that break do for you mentally?
I think that's the main thing. What it does for me is, and golf as professionals, is just the mental side. I mean, to get away from the game and do some normal things in life, like change shitty diapers and drink a few beers and have some good times with your friends. I mean, it's so important to reset that mental side of the game for professionals, because we're so in tune with it every week, and it just gets a lot. So for me, it's just to literally get away from golf, not think about it, and just totally reset.
Is it hard not to think about it? Hard not to think about your swing thoughts and stuff?
100%. I mean, as soon as I have time away, I'm like, right, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get back out there. But this time I purposely didn't get them out for, well, it was like, I think 13 days to be exact. And that's quite a long time for me, because I get bored pretty quick of just sitting around and doing nothing. So I've filled my time in with a few different activities, been out with the boys a few times, and I like to bike. I've been out on my bike. I bought an e-bike, so I've been out on that and just dicking around, really.
I've been thinking about getting into cycling bike. What kind of how do you use, like, do you already know about it, or do you just go in blind and buy a bike?
To be fair, you can. Yeah, I did it in lockdown because there was nothing to do. All the golf courses were closed and couldn't do anything else. So I just went into a bike shop. I was like, right, give me a bike. And I mean, obviously I used to bike as a kid, but I hadn't really done it for a long time. So I bought myself a bike, and then the next time I was home, I bought a racing bike. I've got all areas ticked now. I've got like a mountain bike, a racing bike, which is obviously for the roads, and then I've just bought an electric mountain bike, which is fucking crazy. Just 30 miles an hour.
Whoa. So that's interesting that we're talking about this, because I've actually been thinking about buying a bike as well. I just moved out to Long Island out of the city, and we talked a couple episodes ago about how I hate exercising because it's so boring. Like, if you put me on a treadmill, I'm going to quit in 2 days. I can't be a rat on a wheel going over and over again. So I thought a bike would be interesting. You know, I would just ride around this new town that I'm in. But the part that caught me up was the part that we're talking about. What kind of bike do I buy? Is it a mountain bike? Is it a road bike? Is it there's so many different options that I'm too intimidated to even go into a bike shop now.
All depends what you want. Do you want to be...
I don't know what I want.
tough. Yeah, exactly. I don't know then. I can't help you. But I like, I definitely like mountain biking just because being on the road, it gets kind of monotonous and boring. And obviously in England, I mean, the roads are so shitty that you hit like a huge pothole in the road and that's it. I mean, you're pretty much dead.
Do you wear a helmet? Do you wear a helmet?
If I lived in Arizona, I'd be getting a road bike because obviously there's some unbelievable biking out there.
So that's Trent. I'm right up your alley. I'm the exact same mindset where I want to do cardio. I want my like heart to be healthier. I'm getting a little worried about that. I refuse to run because it's shit on my knees. I get shin splints, your back. It's shit for you. I hate running. I think it fucking sucks. And then treadmill and anything that's like stationary, I think is so lame. Like I could never go to the same room. It's like sweaty and it feels like they get, it's just, I don't like it. I don't want to go there and just be in like the local communal like gym room in the apartment building. So that's out. So I've been thinking, I've always liked, and we always would, with hockey, we would bike a lot because it's very similar muscles. You really, you're supposed to like bend your fuck, whatever. We would bike a lot. And I always could get through the biking. And then Arizona, it's beautiful out here. You don't have to go that far. You can get up into some of the mountains that are really, really near a lot of the towns. So I want to get into biking. So you're saying I just walk into a bike shop and I say, I need a fucking bike, and they'll figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, they'll ask you a couple of questions. What do you want to do? But if, for instance, I mean, I've heard Arizona's got some, well, like you say, great trials to ride on. So you'd probably get like some kind of mountain bike, or you could get like, they do hybrids as well. They do like with different. They do a mix really. It all depends.
Do you wear a helmet when you bike?
Yeah.
Got to do that.
Okay. What kind of outfit? You got like you got one of those tight like bright suits on?
Yeah, the full lycra. Yeah. But that's only when I'm doing my road biking. But for mountain biking, I just like to get out and just have let's say do 20 miles. So I just wear like gym stuff and just get out there. But this new e-bike I've just bought, it's fucking crazy. It's wild.
So does that, with the e-bike, does it have a motor on it?
Yeah, it's like a battery. So you charge it up, and it assists you when you're pedaling, and you can turn all the different settings on. So you can have it on like slight boost, or ultra boost. And I mean, they're quite heavy because obviously they've got a battery in the frame.
Right.
But this thing, it's the guy who had it before me, he had it chipped. So it's got like this chip on, so there's no limit. It does like 35 miles an hour up a hill. So you don't have to.
Shit.
It's crazy. And I went out on it the first night, and I need to be careful because I can see myself getting hurt on that thing.
Is that thing street legal?
Yes. Yep. You don't have to be insured. It's just, yeah. A lot of people have them these days because, like you say, everyone's, not saying you boys are lazy, but everyone's lazy and they want the assistance so they can enjoy the downhill part and obviously get to the top pretty quick.
We're lazy.
Sounds amazing. You're speaking to the right, crew right now with that. That's 35 on a bike. 35 on a bike is fast as fuck. Like if you're going 20 or 25 in a golf cart, it feels like you're flying a bike. Woo.
Yeah, it's crazy. It really is.
You get any bad wrecks? You get any bad wrecks yet?
No, I try to be as careful as possible. I've came off a few times, but I always try to avoid things that I know I can't or I would get myself into trouble with. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I know some experienced cyclists, and I need to be careful because I can see myself coming off and breaking an arm or a collarbone, and then I'll be sitting on the couch for a few months. So I've got to be careful. Right,
your body is your thing. That's very dangerous to a certain point.
Yeah, but like you say, I'm the same as you boys. I hate sitting on a treadmill or a stationary bike in a sweaty, smelly gym. You know what I mean? So I like to be outdoors, really.
Yeah.
What other activities you get into back home in the UK? You guys go to games or anything? You go to any like soccer matches?
Yeah, I do. It's pretty tough because obviously I'm a Liverpool fan, so to get hold of one of them tickets is kind of like rocking horse shit. It's not easy, but I've got a couple of connections through actually the commissioner of the tour, Mr. Monaghan. his best friend actually owns, or is the chairman of Fenway Sports Group, which owns Liverpool.
Yeah.
So he's hooked me up a few times. He's looked after me, which is good.
Look at that. The
yeah,
commish.
he's came right through. I can't say thank you enough to him.
That's amazing. That's great. I always get interested in that because when we go over there, a few times I've been over there. I've been to London, and then I've been to Scotland twice. And the UK feels it's just similar enough to the States, but also you guys got like your little quirkiness that's just like it's just different enough too that it's super interesting to me. So I always get, I'm just curious about kind of what kind of activities you guys get into, different type of stuff that you do. You play any other sports?
No, not really. No, I used to play soccer, but I can't do that for my knees. Really, I've got a bad busted up left knee, and I just can't afford to do that. So, biking, going out with the boys, golfing. I don't know. Personally, I prefer America. I feel as though there's a lot more to do in America.
Okay.
And everyone in America seems up for doing things, whereas in England, everyone's like, I can't do this, I can't do that. So I'm definitely on the American side for sure.
Where do you live again in the States when you're here?
Orlando, just Lake Northern. Yeah.
People like to do shit in. I feel like it depends where you're at in the U.S. Like we talk about Colorado a lot because my parents are there. Frankie's got family out there. He's going there right now. Colorado, people are super active and they like to do shit. People are skiing, they're biking, they're running, like they're super active. And then there's other places like, some of the spots where I'm from, there's certain little towns that are Midwestern where people don't want to do shit. So it just kind of depends, I think, where you're at in the States. But Orlando with Disney, and it's kind of almost the whole place feels like a carnival, like Orlando, that there is. I feel like that area people want to do shit. And a lot of the cities you guys go to on tour, I feel like are pretty active. Like in Minnesota, where we saw you, 3M, Minnesota people were pretty active. I feel like they got their fucking lakes and they're always doing cool shit and they're fishing. So people in the States, I feel like, depending where you go, can be pretty active.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you go to Disney?
I've only been once. Took our my partner came out for when was it? It was at start of this year sometime, and we had a week, and we went one day, and I was like, yeah, that's probably enough for me.
We got no.
It's a little bit. That's a little bit too much of America for you.
Yeah.
It's super America. We got. You got to go back. We got a great Disney connection for you.
Okay.
This guy Jordan that we know, who is the nicest guy in the world. He's in this special club, and we had like our whole fucking crew. He took like 6 of us, and we went to Disney with him. We put out video. We couldn't even put out all the stuff because he's in such a cool club that you can't even film a bunch of it. Yeah. But you go back with this guy. You won't wait in line. You'll be able to walk into like secret fucking bars and get drinks. Like it's a whole different experience with this guy.
Well, that's the thing. When
you
went, did you wait? Were you waiting on lines a bunch?
Me? I bought the what it was like a skip the line pass.
Fast pass.
Okay.
That was the one. And then, but the only problem is we went to one of the parks where you couldn't drink. So we snuck some drinks in, and it was strange. It was, yeah.
You gotta be able to drink.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What are we doing? This guy, next time you go, we'll hook you up with our boy. And he loves it. Like he doesn't just use it for corporate connections and blah, blah, blah. He's like obsessed with Disney. Like when each like ride, a new thing that you walk into, he tells you about the history of it. He's like a mini tour guide when you go with him. So being with somebody like that's got that passion, and he's got the great hookup, it's a whole different experience. I could never do Disney any other way. So you said it's been 13 days now. The last week or so, you've been hitting balls. What's next? What's next on the schedule?
So I'm signed up for the first event in Napa. I'm pretty excited about that because Napa's pretty cool. It's sweet anyway. Good wine, golf course is awesome. So I'm starting my season in Napa in 2 weeks, just gone Sunday. 2 weeks, pretty much today. So that's first event of the year, and I'm ready to get going. I've got a pretty busy fall schedule planned, so need to kind of get off to a better start than I did last year. But I'm excited. I mean, like you say, I can pick my own schedule, so I'm just excited about what this next year holds.
Fall, I feel like it's a big time for you too. You get ahead a little bit in FedEx Cup points and all that deal. While just so it's not everybody's playing. The fields are going to be a little bit more gettable. It's like fucking go time for you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, played the golf courses as well last year, so a bit of experience there, and kind of know what to expect. At the end of the day, I've had a full year on the PGA Tour now. This time last year, I was probably shit myself. Heading out to Napa to play first PGA Tour event. I had to do the orientation, so you had to get there on Friday afternoon before the event. Spent too long in Napa, it dragged on that week because you had to be there as a rookie to go through the orientation, which is a 3-day ordeal, which just, it's awful. You sit in a classroom for pretty much 3 days and get told the do and don'ts of the PGA Tour, which is just wild, but that's kind of what they've been doing for a long time now. And yeah, like you say, I know the golf courses, and I think there's a few. Well, there's a number of golf courses in the fall that suit me, so I'm ready to get going. Really.
That orientation, I've never even really heard of that. That sounds awful.
Listen, it's brutal. You ask anyone, it's brutal.
Is it 3 days? You said?
Yeah. So they do soften it by taking you on the final night. They take you to like a private winery, and it's like 5-star food and beverages, and they look after you. But apart from that, it's pretty monotonous and a bit boring. Yeah.
Wow. Fuck. What are the dues? Like hit good golf shots and like smile? Like what are they?
Well, they go through a lot of things. Like they do media training. They go through the rules of golf.
It's good. It's good.
This time last year, obviously, COVID was around, so we had a COVID speech about the do's and don'ts of COVID.
Play slow enough so the cameras can see your shots.
Exactly. That's a one. A pace of play that was brought up, and they have all these different guests that come in. And like you say, it's crazy, but we have to do it.
Sounds fucking horrible. They bring guests in like,
anything that sounds like school, which that just sounds like school, is like once you get to a certain age, you're like, I don't want to do any of this anymore.
Yeah. And hey, there's multiple choice questions. There's these little exams at the end as well. It's tell you what, it's wild.
Oh, dude,
man.
Do you guys get like cliques going? Like cliques, little groupies being like, where you guys talk shit about the orientation?
Yeah, and like you say, it's just hard to sit there and obviously you just want to play golf. You just got to the PGA Tour, but it's just one of those things that they have to do and tick the box of. It's just it sucks.
Do you get to escape during that and go hit like golf balls? You like, hey, I'm here to practice my golf game?
No, there's like breaks for lunch and obviously food, and then that's it. It's like literally, I'm telling you, when I promise you, it's like I'm sure it's 7:30 till 5. 7:30 a.m. for 5, and it's
what?
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
All right, so this time around for you, it's going to be much better because you're just going to show up.
I don't need to go. Yeah, I mean, I actually spoke to the lady the other day. I said, "Have fun at orientation. I'll see you when I see you."
So, are you bringing the fam out for Napa?
Nah, it's just me. She's got, like you say, she's busy with work, and I'm going to. Yeah, the plan is to play Napa. I've got a week off, so I've got my coach and trainer coming out the second week for like a boot camp, little mini boot camp. We're going to play Nona, Sawgrass, Seminole, and do some work in between, and try and have a good week with them. And then I think it's Sanderson, Vegas, and then it's Japan. Fly to Japan. So there's quite a busy schedule coming up.
Well, you're ramping up.
Oh yeah, big time.
Japan, you're going to be like you're back where it all began. You're back in Asia.
Everyone keeps asking like, will you play Japan? I'm like, fuck yeah. I mean, why wouldn't I? And obviously it's a big event, limited field, no cuts. So if I'm hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm in. I've been told I'll get it. I'll cruise in, but fuck yeah, I'm going there.
You gotta be excited to get back to Japan. You got that place down. You're gonna be more comfortable than anybody in the field.
Yeah, so it'll be, and then I think it's CJ Cup in South Carolina. Obviously, that's gonna suck going from Vegas to Japan, then back to the East Coast, but. I don't mind. It's like you say, it's part of the game, isn't it?
You into any like shows or anything? You get through it by watching. You download a bunch of shows or podcasts or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I try. I obviously listen to your boys' podcasts.
Thank you.
James English, he's a Scottish guy who's got quite a good podcast in the UK. He gets like ex-criminals and people like that on to tell the story. So there's some good stories on there. But what am I watching at the moment? I need to get on the download game for these next few weeks.
Okay. As you we watch big rec from us is the Monty Te'o documentary. You're probably not gonna know who the fuck that is, but he's big. He was a superstar Notre Dame college football player. Was almost won the Heisman. He was in the final three to win the Heisman, and he had this incredible national storyline about a tragedy about how his grandma and his girlfriend died on the same day during his senior year when Notre Dame then went undefeated and made it to the national championship game. Turns out his girlfriend never existed.
She was fake.
He got catfished. She was fake. Somebody on the internet was just fucking with him for 3 years. And it's a crazy story. And they did a 2-series documentary. Untold did it. It's on Netflix. And it is must watch, especially for someone that isn't familiar with the story at all. It is amazing.
Wild, yeah, definitely. I'll be on that.
Yeah. That is super interesting for someone who has no idea what that is. Like when it originally happened, I think it was like 2012, 2013. And it was the biggest story ever, and everybody thought that he was in on it, and then the documentary goes into all that. So yeah, that would be a good one for you to watch for sure.
Yeah, I'll get on that. Definitely.
Yeah, the pastimes out there on the road, I get the same. You got to try to figure out good stuff to get into. And I would say the planes, depending on your airline, planes have some good options these days too. And I feel like I can go back because there's a lot of movies that like you feel embarrassed you've never seen before. And they have a lot of those available on the airline options sometimes. So sometimes you can get away with it on the actual airlines. But there's no way to get around the fucking travel. I was bitching the other day about lines. I feel like lines are just ridiculous that we just accept that lines exist. I just can't comprehend that lines are just normal. And Trent's a huge line guy. I never met somebody that's like pro line. Trent loves lines.
I just think it's a part of being a human being. I think as things get more digital and technological and we're all on our phones and we're not paying attention to each other, you're standing in a line, I think, it makes you feel human again, in my opinion.
No, I mean, come on. What are we talking about? Who wants to feel human? I just want to get on with my day. I don't want to stand in a fucking
We're losing touch, boys and girls. We're losing touch. And we got to stand in lines together to feel like we're all part of a community.
Staring at the back of somebody's fucking head in front of you. That's a real good human experience.
Are you a Peaky Blinders guy?
Me, yes, big time. Seen it, done it, completed it. Unbelievable.
You watched the final season?
Yep.
I don't know if we probably don't want to give it away, but what'd you think of the twist at the end?
Yeah, it's typical Peaky, isn't it? It's something. I mean, personally, I think there's going to be another season, but I don't know.
I've heard there's going to be a movie.
Well, there you go. I mean, something's going to happen. I mean, they can't just leave it like that.
Tommy Shelby's such a badass motherfucker.
He is, absolutely. I love it.
Trent, did you find it hard to like understand at first?
Well, yeah, because I think that's the show that finally got me on. I watch everything with subtitles now. Outside of stand-up comedy and sitcoms, I watch everything with subtitles. And the reason I started doing that was because of Peaky Blinders, and in particular, Tom Hardy's character, because he is just so Alfie. He is impossible to understand. So that show kicked off my lifelong obsession now with getting with subtitles, and it makes everything so much better.
Hey, so Trent, there's another like series called Taboo, Taboo.
Okay.
And the lead actor is Tom Hardy, and it's similar to Peaky Blinders, and it's incredible.
I'm gonna write that down right now.
Taboo.
Taboo.
Yeah, he if you think he's hard to understand in Peaky, wait till you get on that. But that is, I would say that's up there, if not better than Peaky.
Whoa.
Yes.
Peaky's great, man.
It's a lot shorter. I think it's like, I want to say 6 to 8 episodes, but it's unbelievable.
All right, I'm gonna watch that for sure. Do you know what it's on?
I want to say it's definitely on UK Netflix. but I'm not sure if it's on the US one. But maybe if you can Google it, I'm sure it will come up somewhere.
I'll find it. All right, I'm gonna watch that.
Taboo, it's really good.
I need to get into Peaky. I tried it years ago with the girl I was dating at the time, and she hated it. So I just couldn't. And then, so we just couldn't get. We weren't allowed to get through it, and I never revisited it.
I
So
love a show that makes me want to smoke cigarettes. I don't smoke cigarettes, but that show you watch it and you're just like, man. Mad Men was the same way, but Peaky Blinders, the way Tommy smokes that cigarette, it's like, you know what I could put into my life? Just a bunch of cigarettes every day. That's something I should do. It's so good.
It's literally every time he opens his mouth or every scene it comes to him, it's just like he's lighting a cigarette and he's just like smoking his darts.
He's so cool.
Callum, what's the worst golf shot you've ever hit?
Worst golf shot I've ever hit.
Especially in competition. Like, is there like a big one that sticks out where you just were like, wow, how did that happen?
Top to 3 wood somewhere, but I can't remember where it was. Was it on the PGA Tour this year? Might have been on Corn Ferry one year. I topped a 3 wood in the middle of a fairway, which obviously it happens. It does happen, but I can't remember where it was. But I topped a 3 wood playing professional golf. I think it was on the Corn Ferry in 2018, but I can't remember exactly where it was. But I literally stone cold topped a 3 wood. That wasn't very good.
Oof.
What happens there? Do you just try to forget about it? Like, you're not.
Well, I actually laughed. I was like, I just started sniggering. I was like, yeah, that's nice.
That's a reminder that can happen.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what's funny? It hung around in my head for a long time. Every time it was like 3 wood off the floor, I was like, please don't top this. Like, you topped it before and you weren't trying to top it, so it's actually in me to top one. And it did hang around for a while. I was like, just make sure you just get this one, just pick this one off perfect, you know? Crazy.
Fuck.
It's funny how it hangs around for everyone. That's so true. It's like if you get one just squirrely fucking shit strike shot, you for the next it might be a month where you're just anytime that same shot you're trying to hit, you're like, all right, I know I can top this one, so we need to bear down here and hit the middle of it, no matter what level you're at. I want to say it might have been Graham McDowell or something. I remember one of the great top videos on tour was at Bay Hill on, I think it's that 6th hole, where it's the super boomerang par 5 where John Daly tried to drive the green and made like 1,000. And he just cold tops one into the water right in front of him. Basically, it only went 10 yards. The water's right there. And he has to hit the same shot now again, even closer to the water. And you're like, all right, if these guys, like we, as weekend golfers, we love that because we get to, it's like, oh, they're just like us.
Who topped one off the tee at Pebble, the first hole? You remember that? It was somewhat recent.
Oh, it was Francesco Molinari.
Molinari, yeah, it was, yeah.
I think he had a hybrid in his hand, I don't know. I guess I don't remember what it was, but he topped it right off there and went maybe 8 yards.
I think there's that famous one as well. Was it Sung Kang? He was like leading the tournament, and he has 3 wood into a par 5. He literally tops it along the floor.
Oh god,
dude, it can happen.
How good is it?
It can happen.
What a game! What an insane game. We were talking on last show about how we love PGA Tour Live whenever you can get into it because you can get into a full round, whereas when you're watching the coverage, they just kind of aggregate the best players that are hitting the best shots, you know, and you don't really see the ebbs and flows of a round. And I think that one of the biggest misconceptions is that you guys, PGA Tour players, you know, are the best players in the world, just hit every shot pretty much perfectly. And they don't realize that there are stretches where the guy is just not hitting it good at all. And you guys are just way better at turning those stretches into even par or 1 over instead of like a disastrous, 42.
Yeah, I think that's one thing the PGA Tour is trying to improve. Because like you say, you only see the guys who are leading the tournaments and absolutely striping the shit out of it. I would like to see more people grinding to make the cut on the coverage because some of the things that start happening then, I mean, it's good value for obviously fans and customers. Yeah, I mean, there's times, like you say, someone's trying to grind to make a cut who hasn't made a cut like me in 8 events, and I'm and I'll hit one over a fence because I'm shitting myself. That's what you want to see.
Right, that's good TV.
Yeah, and then Q schools. I mean, like you say, this week, or the Corn Ferry guys trying to get the PGA Tour cards, ultra high pressure situation. I mean, if you could record every single player's week or every shot and pick the best ones, I'm sure you'll see some crazy things in there.
I think all they need to figure out is how to set the table. How do you convey to the viewer or the casual viewer what's actually going on and what the stakes are? If you can make that very clear, I think people would be incredibly interested.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
Yeah, because that's higher stakes than a lot of the guys trying to win a tournament. Like if that guy's already got million, if you already won a bunch, like I'm not saying it's not pressure packed, it is. But when you're playing for your livelihood, for your career, for what the next 12 months of your entire, chase of your dream is going to look like, it's hard to convey, as Trent just said, but man, that shit and the stuff that you see and the stories that you hear coming out of there. Wow. Did you hear about this story about this guy that got DQ'd? Have you guys heard this one that the Fire Pit Collective boys have been?
I did some reading on that this morning. Did you?
Fuck.
You see the rules official and the tournament director went out and found all his golf balls?
Wait, what?
I just saw that. Dude, Trent, it's this. So it's at Q School. There's a couple different stages. The first one's 3 rounds or something like that if you're not. Yeah, first one's 3 rounds, and then there's a cut to obviously advance and keep, your hope of getting your tour card alive. And this guy is playing, and this is all Fire Pit Collective. They did an amazing job. Monday Q, these guys are unreal. They love chasing these kind of stories, and this might be the most bananas one. But anyways, this guy claims he's got this like Monos, or I can't remember exactly his name, but he claims he's got like 38 holes in one, and like 14 of them are on par 4s. Which they make a great point in their article, Monday Q does, of like, there's one recorded hole in one on a par 4 in PGA Tour history. And it was when the guy in like early 2000s, when he hit somebody else's putter on the green and went in the hole.
This guy sounds like the leader of North Korea.
It sure does. So anyway, this guy's like in he's playing and he's near the cut line, and he has one hole where he is like, hits it in the left rough, and he basically like blades his approach. He has to hit it under a tree, and there's a huge mound. He like blades his approach, and his playing partners, he's playing with 2 playing partners, they estimate that he was probably 50 yards short of the green or something in the rough. But they're hitting their shots because they were closer, so they have to wait. Him and his caddy, the guy that hits it, rush up there, and as these other 2 guys are approaching the green, there's like this big mound, so you can't see the hole. The guy just comes running back to them and is like, "It went in. We got a 2. It's like an eagle." And they're like, I mean, what? And he's like, "Yep, it went in." So they're like, "What are you talking about?" So then a few holes later, he hits his drive right, and there's all hazard right. And they go down there, and there's spotters out there. And the spotter has put his flag, a red flag, at the point where the ball crossed into the hazard. And then the spotter runs across the fairway to go help another guy who hit it into the left side. And when they, come back, they all finally meet up at the green, and they go up to the green, and the playing partners ask this guy, they're like, they see his balls on the fringe, like 10, 20 feet away, whatever it is. And they're like, "Oh, what are you putting for?" And he's like, "Oh, birdie." And they're like, "What?" "We saw you drive it." The hazard. "Yeah, we found it. It was like right next to the spotter's flag, like had put a flag down, but we found the ball was just in the rough. It had just like missed the hazard, hit a good shot from there, putt for birdie." Turns out this fucking guy, and there's way more to the story. Turns out this guy ends up chipping in for birdie legitimately on his last hole to move the cut line and knock 2 other people out. So now the guy gets in on the number. And so all of this information gets kind of aggregated and brought up to rules officials. And there's more from the day before, it turns out, that gets brought up to the rules officials. The rules officials are like, "All right, what's going on?" They end up sending somebody out to where that flag was that marked the ball, and they go on that line and find his ball in the hazard. And his claim was, "Oh, that's from the practice round. I marked my balls the same in a practice round. I actually hit a shot very similar in that same area in the practice round. So that just had to be from the practice round." They end up deciding to DQ him.
Yeah.
After all this, they DQ him. The other 2 get in. Well, then they posted a follow-up story last night that Callum's referencing, where a bunch of people that work for, whatever the group is, the rules official
Nebraska,
group.
I think Nebraska
Yeah.
Golf Association.
Yep, yeah, Nebraska Golf Association. They go out on a mission because there were multiple reports from a couple days before. It's a 3-round tournament of like pretty sketchy stuff. And they go out to all of these different incidents and they scour and they find 3 different golf balls in hazards and under trees and shit that are his balls that are like identical markings. He's playing a TaylorMade. Shout out to TaylorMade. He's playing like identical markings with the purple and they're just his balls. So,
Dude.
And the crazier part is he went on these guys' podcast like happily and just came off like he kind of came off a little like genuine, but also just like with all the facts, it's clearly bullshit. And like, so the whole thing has been fucking nuts, but he got DQ'd.
This guy's a sociopath. I don't know what else.
Yeah.
Like, that's wow. I'm gonna have to read up on that because that sounds kind of incredible.
And there's a testimonial from his guys at like the clubs that he played at that he claims all these holes in ones are from, that he like every one that he got a hole in one on, you can't see the pin. It's like a blind shot or an
Right.
like all of them. So,
Have you ever come across anybody, obviously not to that level, but on your rise that has been like that at all?
In China a little bit. Well, yeah, I won't lie. In China a lot. But that's just their culture, really. It's just, yeah, it was tough to kind of argue against Chinese rules officials and people who speak fluent Chinese.
Right.
But it used to happen every event, every week. But you like you say, I mean, it's hard to argue your point in English when they're speaking in Chinese together. It was tough.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, what can you do about that? That's nuts. That's, it's funny because we laugh a lot about some of the stupidity in like the archaic nature of some of the rules of like when somebody can get DQ'd on the PGA Tour for signing an incorrect scorecard, but because we look at it as like every shot's on TV, we all know what he shot. But what you don't realize, like 99.9% of competitive golf is played where the only people out there monitoring it are the players themselves.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, it's tough. I mean, but what I kind of read from that the article from Fire Pit Stories was, I mean, it was crazy. I couldn't believe what I was reading. I was like, holy shit! Wow. You need to read that, Trent. You need to read it.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. What do you got? What time is it there? Is it pretty late there? Or is it
it's like 3:37 in the afternoon. Just chilling.
We're not great with time zones. On this show. It's
5 hours. 5 hours ahead.
5 hours.
Okay. All right. What do you got on tap for the rest of the day? Anything special?
No, just chilling really. I've practiced this morning, done the gym, all the boring, all the stuff that you need to do, and just chilling really. But just literally chilling, have some food and chill out.
All right.
Will you fly straight to Napa, or will you like reset home base in Orlando first?
No, I'm flying straight to Napa. I'd thought about spending some time in Orlando, but the weather's actually decent at the moment over here, so you can actually practice. So I'm just flying. Yeah, I'm flying direct from here to San Francisco, which isn't. I mean, it's 10 hours or 11 hours, which sucks, but it's got to be done. It's got to be done.
Is what it is. Well, look, we appreciate it as always. New season on the horizon. We got, like Frankie said, you're one of my guys too. That starred on the Score app. So I get fucking notifications. I'm like out to dinner with my pals or something, and it's like Callum Tarren has birdied 13. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, let's go.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Hopefully,
it's great.
Hopefully that can keep fucking vibrating this year and plenty of birdies to come. You know what I mean?
Let's go.
Yeah. It's not good when it's like Callum's like 3 over through 4.
Whoa. We're not talking about that. We're only talking about birdies out here.
Yeah, I get throw my phone across the room. I'm like, fuck.
I'm gonna watch Taboo, and I'm gonna root you on, and we're just gonna have a great season.
Legend. Hey, and then like you say, boys, if you ever you need to come out and play more of these events. I've vouched for you to these PGA Tour officials, so hopefully you get a few more proams and we can get paired together again.
Awesome.
We're going to rip it up again. I love it.
Legends.
All right, Colin. We appreciate you, man. Good luck.
All right, boys. Thank you very much for having me.
Safe travels. And
Thank you.
We'll see you on the circuit.
Legends. Thank you very much, boys. Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.